The following is a sports presentation of the University of Nebraska's radio station, your home for continuous coverage of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 90.3 KRNU, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hello and welcome to Kinnick Stadium here for your Husker pregame show right here on 90.3 KRNU, your home of Husker football. I'm Max Baker. Alongside me, Alex Zastera on a chilly Black Friday here in Iowa City, Iowa, as the Nebraska Cornhuskers come into Kinnick Stadium to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes for battle for third place in the Big Ten Western Division. Alex, how are we doing today?
It's a great day. It's a little bit chilly, but the sun's starting to pop out a little bit, and it's starting to warm up a bit. So these players, and we're ready for this game. We're all ready.
It should be a great game here today. Nebraska Cornhuskers coming into Iowa City, trying to avenge last year's 38-17 loss on Senior Day. The Huskers looking to play the role of spoiler here today on Iowa's Senior Day. During the week, my partner Alex Zastera had the chance to meet up with a Nebraska Cornhusker walk-on player, Joey Felici, to get a take on his Senior Day and how the state of the program and how the Huskers feel as they travel to Iowa City.
Hey Joey, how's it going? Glad to have you in the KRNU studios.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
It's your last season in Nebraska and you just played your final game at home at Memorial Stadium. What was going through your mind that final time you ran through the tunnel and seeing all those fans for the final time?
Yeah, it was bittersweet. There's been a lot of memories had in that stadium. I'm happy to have my family come down from Omaha to support me. And, just kind of walking out of that tunnel and looking up for that one last time, getting the opportunity to carry out the flag, too, as well, coming out of the tunnel. It was definitely a memorable moment for me and something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Some fans might not know this at home. Your dad's actually in the Husker Football Hall of Fame. He was part of the 1983 team that went to the national championship. What was it like being able to see your dad right after you came out of the tunnel? I mean, it had to be heart-wrenching.
Yeah, he was one of the first people I saw, and going up there and giving him a hug. Yeah, he got inducted to the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame my junior year, so he let me. I couldn't make the big ceremony, so he let me come out on the field from when he got inducted. So just kind of that flashing back in my head, and being able to be on that field with him again was something really special to me, and also having my mom there to support me was awesome.
Alrighty, your final home game might not have ended the way you wanted it to, but what is this team's mindset heading into Iowa City?
We're a focused a bunch of guys, and these last two games kind of didn't really go according to plan, but we've kind of just rallied on our senior leadership, guys like Amir and Kenny and Jake Cotton, some of those guys that, we've played a lot of football for us here at the university and been through a lot of tough games and some tough losses over the past course of our careers. So, kind of just leaning on us seniors to kind of rally us and get us going, especially some of those young guys, who haven't really experienced some of those losses or a couple losses back-to-back. So we've been kind of just counting on each other, and just saying, we got to take this next game super serious, and we got to take it all in as we can and just, come out and just play as hard as we can for this university.
Ever since Nebraska joined the Big Ten in 2011, it seems like people try to make this Iowa-Nebraska rivalry. I mean, it obviously seems like Nebraska's main rivals so far in the Big Ten have been Wisconsin and Michigan State. But people are trying to push this rivalry. What do you and some of your teammates think of this rivalry?
It's kind of different because, you can see the rivalry just because we're border states, so we're kind of right next to each other, and you get a lot of Iowa people coming into Nebraska and some Nebraska people coming into Iowa, so I could definitely see how they make this kind of a rivalry game and kind of have it towards the end of the game like they did towards the end of the year, like when we played Colorado on Thanksgiving when we were in the Big 12. But I would say it is a rivalry game too, but like I said, like every game is really a big game for us. I mean, we take every game serious, but some of the Wisconsin games that we played, have been tough and have been hard-fought games. But I wouldn't really necessarily say they're a big rival, but they're definitely one that you got to make sure you come and play your best football when you play them, because you're going to get their best football.
Being a part of the scout team the last 4 years, you're a walk-on and you've seen minimal playing time in those 4 years, 5 years now. What's it like being able to make an impact on this team during games? I mean, it's got to be great.
Yeah, just kind of buying my time through the last 4 years, grinding it out on some scout team units and just, staying focused on that process that Coach Bo always preaches about to, hopefully get my opportunity or my shot to. I always believed in myself. I wouldn't have wanted to walk on at this university if I didn't believe that I could play here. If not, would be on the defense or would be on special teams. So I always knew that, I had the effort and I could go out there and play with the best of them. But it's been definitely an honor this year going into my senior year and getting the opportunity to be on the kickoff unit and be on the punt return unit and blocking for a guy like DeMornay Pearsonell, who's just an explosive player, and having some success on those units as well. So it's definitely been a fun year for me. It hasn't gone as accordingly with some of the losses, but that's how football is, and it's the ultimate game that will teach you anything about life, and you go through so much adversity, and I've learned so much from this game, and just through my senior year that will prepare me for later on in my life.
Like we just mentioned, you've been here for 5 seasons now. You redshirted your freshman season. If you had to go back on your 5 years, what moment sticks out to you the most? I mean, what would you pick as your most impactful moment in your football career here at Nebraska?
That's a pretty tough question, just because there's been so many memories over these past 5 years, just with interactions with different guys and meeting some pretty unbelievable players like Levante David, and playing with guys like that, and Randy Gregory and Amir Abdullah. But something that sticks out to me, I could say this year, is just having some success on the punt return unit and making some key blocks, like the Fresno State game, making a kick-out block for DeMornay Pearsonell, or against Wisconsin, having a tackle when they try to run a reverse coming my way on the kickoff unit. But just some of those kind of stood out for me this year.
So life after football, what's life looking like? You're a business major, you're in the business school. What's life looking like after college?
Yeah, definitely. So after I graduate here this December, I plan on moving back to Omaha and kind of just getting into the job search. My ultimate goal would be to maybe work for a company like Adidas or Nike or Under Armour, and kind of go into sales or marketing for them. I love speaking with people. I have a minor in communication, so that's the plan for me now. I've been busy with concentrating on football and school, so I haven't had so much time to, get my future squared away. So probably take a couple months after I graduate and maybe job search out. I kind of want to get out of the state of Nebraska for a little bit. Born and raised in Omaha and going to college in Lincoln. Kind of want to maybe get out and see what else is out there for me.
All righty, Joey, that's going to wrap up this interview. Good luck against Iowa on Friday.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Just absolutely fantastic stuff there from Joey Felici. It's great seeing the hard work that he's put into this program really pay off, as he's really a key contributor to the Nebraska special teams units. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on the pregame show. Coming up, an interview with Adam Kramer, the national lead writer for college football on Bleacher Report. You might know him on Twitter as @KegsandEggs. Stay tuned for more here on your home for Husker football on 90.3 KRNU.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back here to Kinnick Stadium. Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera here on 90.3 KRNU. Joined now by National College Football lead writer for Bleacher Report. You might know him on Twitter @KegsandEggs. Adam Kramer joins us for an opponent preview, Nebraska versus Iowa. Adam, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, my friend. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. Thinking back to last year's Nebraska-Iowa game, Iowa came into Lincoln, put down a 38-17 beatdown on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. A big reason for that win last year for Iowa was their balance on offense. Are you expecting more of the same in today's game?
Yeah, I think I think Iowa is more balanced than they've been, and inconsistent and balanced, I think, are two different things. But Iowa, to me, just watching them, they're a team that at times offensively can be anemic. Offensive line it can be very good. Obviously, a top 10 pick, I think, at left tackle, or at least along the offensive line. You've got guys that can move bodies, and you've got running backs that can make plays. Defensive side, you can have the same discussion. You look at some of the players that they have, and Carl Davis, who played a whale of a game against Wisconsin, the big man in the middle, and they can generate some pressure and they can make life difficult. So to me, that is how Iowa really likes to thrive. They want to make pressure, they want to force you into third downs, and they want to hope that their third downs are third and shorts because they can pick up chunks and bunches. There's nothing fancy in the way they do it, but it can be effective. They didn't get a win against Wisconsin, but they were pretty close, and I thought the game plan overall was pretty balanced, pretty solid.
Hey Adam, it's Alex Zastera here. Last year, Iowa was able to contain Amir Abdullah. Do you see more of the same in this upcoming game?
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, the game plan in terms of stopping, Nebraska is pretty simple, and vice versa. I think both of these teams have similar identities, and nothing that they want to fool you. They want to sort of get some yardage on first down, and then obviously have some room for creativity on that second down play call, which is where I think both of these teams can really do their damage. I look at Amir Abdullah, who clearly to me right now is not the same back. I think he still can be tremendously effective, even when he's operating at probably 75%, and that's just for me looking on television. He's not nearly as effective, and yet still effective because of how good he is. So I think that the goals for these two remain somewhat similar. And you're right, in terms of bottling those guys, it can be easier said than done regardless of the health.
Adam, the key guys from the Nebraska side of things are obviously Randy Gregory on defense, Amir Abdullah on offense. For the casual Husker fan that hasn't gotten a chance to watch a lot of Iowa games this year, who are some guys they're going to be familiar with by the end of the game today?
Well, it's funny, Iowa doesn't have a ton of, high, skill position guys. Randy Gregory is a household name nationally. I think Brandon Sheriff is somewhat that way for Iowa. He's like that classic tackle mold for the Hawkeyes. They've had a nice run of really high draft picks when it comes to that position. I mentioned Carl Davis, who is a guy that, for me, just watching him this year, I expected more from him. I expected him to deliver from start to finish. He's kind of been absent at times. Against Wisconsin, that was not the case. He was everywhere. I mean, he played a whale of a game, I thought. Again, those are two of the biggest NFL guys. I'm not sure they're quite up there with Gregory and Abdullah, but Sheriff's going to be a high pick. And in terms of just some other guys to keep an eye on, Mark Weissman for Iowa, the experienced back, kind of the bigger bulldozing back. Nothing fancy about what he wants to do. He's going to run it forward, run it right at you. And I think, when you look at him along with Jordan Canzeri, the other back that they like to use quite a bit, it's a formidable attack. Again, I don't necessarily think it's up there in terms of Nebraska for athletes, but it gets it done. And at quarterback, Jake Rudock is pretty good. He played a really nice game against Wisconsin. Accuracy, I think, can be an issue, and they've had issues, I think, finding weapons for him. But if he can play the way he did against Wisconsin, that's someone else you got to worry about.
Last year, we saw Iowa come into Lincoln and beat Nebraska down 38-17 in their own house. And last week, Iowa played Wisconsin pretty well. They only lost by 2 points. Do you feel like there's a general confidence building in that Iowa locker room coming into this Nebraska game?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a team that certainly has never lacked confidence under Kirk Ferentz. There have been some clunkers on the schedule this year, on the schedule the past few years, and they've always seemed to bounce back from that. I mean, I think their criticism of Ferentz given his salary is warranted, and yet he really does do a good job of getting his teams up for this game. Now, I wouldn't look too much into last year's game. Now, that was a completely different situation, obviously, and I truthfully believe this is a more talented Nebraska team. I know the results may have varied, but they're a play away last week from winning, and a play here or there Not so much against Wisconsin, against Melvin Gordon, but really, I think I'm a little bit higher on this Nebraska team than most right now. To me, I still think Iowa will push them. I think they've got a really good chance to win this game, but Nebraska, I don't see this team letting down. I still think they've got a chance to really do some really good things, especially if they can get the ball going in the air. If that's the case, Iowa's secondary has some issues. Wisconsin not able to expose those. Can Nebraska do it? We'll see. You'd have to get a better performance than you've had in the last few weeks, but I certainly think the scenario is possible.
Adam, looking at Iowa's football schedule this season, there really hasn't been a marquee victory for this program. Would a second straight win against Nebraska leave Hawkeye Nation content with this 8-4 season, or do you still think this season is disappointing either way?
I think it would. I think it'd be moderately satisfying. That's sort of the vanilla ice cream answer, I know. But I think from my standpoint, I looked at this season. This was a really favorable schedule for Iowa. I mean, it really was. And you look at the games that you lost. You can't lose to Iowa State, okay? And you should have beaten Maryland or could have beaten Maryland. You get beat up by Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota's a pretty good team. And you lose to Wisconsin. I understand that. Nebraska, another one of those games, I think, entering the season, you said they have a decent shot of winning, although I would have probably given Nebraska a slight edge. So I think it certainly would salvage some emotions, no question about it. But when I entered this season, and just looking at it on paper, and really not much has changed. I think overall it's sort of played to form. I thought Iowa had a chance at double-digit wins. The fact that they didn't do that, or the fact that they've underperformed, I think up till this point, especially with some of the games they lost and the way they've lost, I think a win here would certainly go a long way. But to me, I still think they missed out an opportunity the way this whole thing shook out.
For Iowa fans, everybody knows their main rival is the team out west, the Iowa State Cyclones. But since Nebraska joined the Big Ten in 2011, what is the state of this rivalry?
Yeah, it's sort of in its infancy stages. I think there's something here, and I think it's something in the way the fan bases are different, and yet there's some similarities, just with people I know. The timing of this game has been fantastic when you talk about the Thanksgiving. To me, I think there is definitely a rivalry brewing, but it takes time. I mean, Nebraska is a team with so much history that it's hard to say rivalry when you consider Nebraska just because of how much football they've played and quality football, national spotlight. So no question about it. I think this has a chance to be something special, but I think it will take some time to get there.
Both Nebraska and Iowa have suffered rather disappointing seasons thus far. Who would you say seat is hotter following a loss today, Bo Pelini or Kirk Ferentz?
I don't think there's any question it's Bo Pelini. And maybe unfairly so to a degree, because I think you could argue that Iowa, given salary compensation, needs to be better under Kirk Ferentz. But it's strange. I think we're sort of numb to that conversation right now. But it has started to turn again on Bo. You look at the way last year unfolded, and this year has this very similar feel to it. Perhaps not quite as volatile, but I still think Bo, has cat antics aside, and his ability to repair his image to a degree in the off season, feels like some of that's been lost. I think fans have expected more, and probably deservingly so. And it's not just the fact that he's lost games; it's the fact that he's lost games in somewhat spectacular fashion. There, you've got the results again against Melvin Gordon. Of course, you had last week a game that I thought they should have won. They were in complete control of. So, to me, a loss here probably furthers that conversation. I don't think it's the end of Bo Pelini one way or another, but I do think you lose some of the goodwill without a win here. And I think, again, Iowa's probably ripe at least to call some of that.
Hey, Adam, before we let you out of here, can we get a score prediction for the game today?
I think Nebraska wins this game. I will go 31-28. I think it's a close game, but I think Nebraska gets the edge. I think Bo Pelini buys himself maybe a little bit of breathing room, probably not the most convincing win, but I ultimately think Nebraska finds a way to win.
And I want to say thank you for joining us here on the pregame show. We're going to let you get out of here. Enjoy today's game.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
That was Adam Kramer, the National College Football lead writer for Bleacher Report. You know him on Twitter at Kegs and Eggs. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, today's starting lineups here on your home of Husker football, 90.3 KRNU.
Back here in Kinnick Stadium, Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. Alex Zastera, Absolutely fantastic stuff from Adam Kramer and Joey Felici. Big thank you to those guys for hopping on with us earlier in the week to get those interviews taped. We heard Adam's prediction. He's got Nebraska edging out a close one, Alex. Nebraska fans, despite the recent losses the past 2 weeks, still coming out and showing their support for this team. A lot of red dotted around the stadium here on a very chilly day. And Alex, it might just be me, but this is the type of game and this type of weather. It's about 30, 32 degrees right now. Cold football. This is the type of weather that breeds rivalries.
Yeah, and I think it's going to suit Iowa very well in this game. They run a power scheme. They don't pass the ball very much. And I think Iowa's going to put the ball on the ground a lot today.
Both teams like to do their damage through the ground. Tommy Armstrong for Nebraska has struggled at times moving the ball vertically down the field to his talented receivers. We've just received news that Nebraska's all-time leading receiver, Kenny Bell, will play, as he was questionable all week due to the injury he sustained last week against the Gophers. On the other side of the ball for Nebraska, they will be missing their best defender, Randy Gregory. He's been ruled out, will not participate in this game. The weight of that is going to fall on the shoulders of Jack Gangwish. He's going to get a start here today, and he's going to have to be big to power up against this Iowa rushing attack that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think Iowa's going to really try to key on Jack Gangwish early. That left side of their offensive line is really good, front and centered by Brandon Sheriff, just like Adam Kramer said. And if Nebraska can't stop that left side or pin up that left side a little bit, they're going to have some trouble today.
Going through the starting lineups here as it is senior day here in Iowa City. Players coming out onto the field for the last time here in Kinnick Stadium. The wide receivers, we have Tavon Smith and Kevontae Martin-Manley for the Hawkeyes. Along the offensive line, Brandon Scherf at left tackle, Austin Blythe, left guard, Tommy Gall, the senior center, right guard Jordan Walsh, right tackle Andrew Donnell. The tight end is going to be a key factor in this Iowa play-action attack. Ray Hamilton, also Henry Krieger-Coble when they go to that two tight end set. At quarterback for the Hawkeyes, number 15, Jake Rudock, and probably the key player for Iowa, Alex, number 45, Mark Wiseman, the running back.
Yeah, Nebraska is going to have their hands full against Mark Wiseman. He ran for over 100 yards against the Black Shirts last year, and he's only gotten 745 yards to this point in this season. And it's kind of a running back by committee here at Iowa. But Nebraska's main plan on defense has to be stopping Mark Wiseman.
They've really struggled the past 2 weeks, and two very talented running backs. They had Melvin Gordon 2 weeks ago, set what was then the NCAA record before it was broken by the running back from Oklahoma, and then David Cobb prior to his injury last week. Gophers were able to move the ball effectively on the ground. For Nebraska to stop the run today, it's going to be up to these guys. Defensive end, the sophomore, number 90, Greg McMullen. The defensive tackles, Vincent Valentine alongside Malik Collins. And we mentioned earlier, Randy Gregory ruled out for today. In his place, Jack Gangwish. So Gangwish is going to have to be big here to try and shut down this Iowa running attack. For the linebackers for Nebraska, David Santos, Trevor Roach, and Zaire Anderson. That linebacking core is going to be crucial here today. They've really struggled the past 2 weeks. And if Nebraska wants to get a win here today, it's going to be on the shoulders of those guys. The defensive backs, you have captain number 5, Josh Mitchell. On the other corner, number 23, Daniel Davey, the junior. At safety, number 25, Nate Gary, the playmaking, ball-hawking sophomore. And in warm-ups, usually Corey Cooper is alongside Gary at that other safety spot. But today in warm-ups, we saw Byerson Cockrell right next to. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We'll let you know when we know. Alex, who's a guy on this Nebraska defense that has to step up today to shut down this running attack, as they've struggled the last 2 weeks we've mentioned?
I think the main guy that has to have a good game for the Black Shirts today has to be Zaire Anderson. He's led the Nebraska defense in tackles with 81 tackles so far this season. He's really good at making penetration in the backfield, and we're going to have to see a lot of that today.
Now let's flip over to the other side of the ball. We'll start with the Nebraska offense. Left tackle, Alex Lewis. Left guard, the senior, Jake Cotton. Ryan Reeves in center, filling in for Pelini, who was injured in that Minnesota game last week. Mike Mowdy, the right guard. Zach Stirrup at right tackle as the Hawkeyes take the field for the last time here. Crowd gets loud for them. Tight end, you'll see Sethan Carter. At quarterback, at times he's been great. At other times he's struggled. Very inconsistent play from the sophomore Tommy Armstrong. At running back, a once Heisman candidate, maybe fell off a little bit. The kid is still unbelievably special and talented. Look for him to have a big game today. Number 8, Amir Abdullah. Amani Cross, another running back, we'll see get some work today. At wide receiver, we have Kenny Bell. We mentioned he's going to go today. Jordan Westerkamp, Brandon Riley, we'll see Alonzo Moore. So a lot of talented guys on this Nebraska offense. Alex, would you say the key to today's game for Nebraska's offense falls on the shoulders of Tommy Armstrong?
I'd have to agree with that. He played pretty well last week. He was 12 and 19 for 223 yards. You can't ask him to play much better than he did. No picks, 1 touchdown. If he can keep improving on his performance last week, we should be able to, or the Huskers should be able to get a win here in Iowa City.
Now on the Iowa side of the ball, at defensive end, you have Nate Meyer, the 2 defensive tackles that are both fantastic up the middle for Iowa. Carl Davis and Luis Trinca-Passat. At the other end, Drew Ott. The linebackers for the Hawkeyes, Bo Bauer, Quinton Alston, and Josie Jewell filling in for an injury. He's played well the past 3 weeks. The Iowa Hawkeyes really strengthen their defense, though, has to be in that secondary. You have Greg Maben on one side, Desmond King on the other in terms of corners, both sophomores, both absolutely fantastic. Jordan Lomax at the free safety, and John Laudermilk, the strong safety. Get used to hearing that name a lot, Alex. That guy's an absolute playmaker out here.
Yeah, especially we're going to be hearing that name a lot. He likes to come up. He likes to mess around. He likes to mess things up in the run game. He's just kind of a little pest out there, and we're going to be hearing his name a lot today.
It should be a great one here today, folks. We're about 10 minutes away from kickoff here. Seniors being introduced for the Hawkeyes. Crowd filling up, like we mentioned, a lot of red spotted in here in this crowd. The Hy-Vee Heroes game, as we know it, the rivalry. When we come back, we'll give you our keys to the game and what to look for here on your home for Husker football, 90.3 KRNU.
This is your home for University of Nebraska Cornhusker football, 90.3 KRNU, Lincoln.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving yesterday here on Black Friday in Iowa City. I'm Max Baker, joined by Alex Zastera here to bring you Husker football on your home of Husker football, 90.3 KRNU. As the Huskers take the field, Alex, to a chorus of boos here from the Iowa faithful. That's got rivalry written all over it.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. The stadium's pumped up, and we're just about ready for some football.
It's going to be an absolutely great game today. Winner of this game claims 3rd place in the Big Ten Western Division. Alex, both of these teams came into this season kind of expecting to compete for that Big Ten championship. Unfortunately, things didn't go their way, versus both Minnesota and Wisconsin for both of these teams. But what are you expecting to see out here today? A lot of pride. Iowa obviously came into Lincoln last season, beat Nebraska on their senior day. I'm sure these Nebraska guys would love nothing more than to do the same here today in Iowa.
Like you said, both teams are kind of coming in with disappointing seasons, so I think this game is going to be a proving ground, kind of get a jump start going into next season. So I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle. I think one of these two teams, I don't know which one of them I think is going to sneak by with a late field goal late. So I think, it's going to be a hard-fought battle, and both these teams love getting together and playing each other at the end of the year. It's kind of our new Oklahoma, new Colorado at this point. So
the new Hy-Vee Heroes rivalry game. Nebraska had taken the previous 2 until last year. We keep mentioning Iowa came into Lincoln and pretty much shocked Husker Nation with the 38-17 drubbing. Tensions running high in Lincoln after that game. The Pelini press conference, the hat in the face of the official. But here we are again today. Bo Pelini on the Nebraska sideline, Kirk Ferentz on the Iowa side of things. Alex, we've kind of talked about some of the guys that need to step up. Tommy Armstrong for the Huskers offense. You've got Weissman for the Iowa offense. Who else is a guy that you've kind of got your eye on that's going to have to kind of step up here today and be a key player in this rivalry game?
I think the key player in this game has to be Kenny Bell. I know he's not 100%. He's still a little woozy coming off that concussion last week. But he's a player that's going to be able to stretch the field, get a big play on this Iowa defense, and hopefully get momentum rolling Nebraska's way.
As the captains get ready to go to midfield to decide the coin toss, the Iowa band filling into their section here, the end zone nearest us. Absolutely perfect view here for Alex and I, right? About mid-level of the stadium, got a great view of everything. Alex, one thing I'm kind of looking forward to in this game, we've mentioned both teams having rather disappointing seasons, at least for their standards. There's not a lot to lose here, and usually in those type of games, you're going to see some wacky things. So I'm expecting maybe a trick play or two here or there, a fake punt, fake field goal. Not a lot to lose, but a lot to gain here. Got to beat your rival here on the last game of the season until the bowl games.
Yeah, we could definitely see some trick plays out here today. I mean, the first couple years of the Bo Pelini era, he was definitely not scared of anything, running any type of trick play. But over the last couple seasons, we've been a little stagnant. We saw the fake punt against Wisconsin. And on Iowa's side, I mean, they've had some fake field goals this season, they've had some fake punts. So this could be a really interesting game, and if one of those plays goes for something big, could mean a lot for one of these teams.
So the Nebraska kickoff unit will take the field first for the Huskers. Iowa will receive the football. And Alex, the Nebraska defense has been under a lot of scrutiny the past 2 weeks, getting blown out in Madison and then losing a pretty tough one to Minnesota last week. Randy Gregory, known as probably the best player on this Nebraska defense, ruled out of today's game. We mentioned Jack Gangwish going to get the start for him. Zaire Anderson, you mentioned, has to step up. Another guy I've kind of got my eye on, Nate Gary, didn't have a great game against the Badgers. I think he's going to have to be a critical part of this defense coming up, filling those running lanes today if they want to shut down this Iowa attack.
Yeah, the Nebraska defense, they've played 2 power running games over the last 2 weeks. Everyone knows Melvin Gordon, Wisconsin, that game did not end up the way we really wanted it to. Nebraska, they got out early against Minnesota, but that Nebraska defense kind of folded a little bit at the end of that game, and even with the second-string running back, Kirkwood from Minnesota, they were still able to come away with a win in the second half. So without Randy Gregory, Gangwish is going to have to step up, and it's going to have to be a full effort by this black shirt defense.
Jonathan Parker, the redshirt freshman, back deep to receive for the Hawkeyes. This stadium right now, unbelievable atmosphere. This is college football at its finest. Rivalry on display. Crowd just going nuts right now.
Yeah, we're getting a little Iowa going in the stadium, similar to the Husker Power Memorial. But the fans are ready. We're just getting ready for kickoff. Commercial man just walked away, and we're ready for kickoff, Baker.
We've got Drew Brown to kick it deep for the Huskers, teeing off from the left hash here on the 35. The High V Heroes game is officially underway. Parker fields it at his 1-yard line on the right side. He's got a seam off the right side. Gets tackled out across the 28-yard line. Austin Williams there for the Huskers. And just like that, we're underway here.
It was a good job by Joey Felici keeping the kick return inside, and it was a nice hit by Austin Williams.
So the Iowa offense will come onto the field. We've kind of mentioned early in the pregame, they're going to try and pound this Nebraska team up the middle. They've seen what Wisconsin and Minnesota were able to do. Jake Rudock under center for the Hawkeyes. Wiseman behind him, dotting the I. 2 wide receivers out to his left side. Tight end on his right. Rudock changing things up at the line of scrimmage, as we do have Cockrell in at that other safety. And it's going to be a power play to the right side. Off the right tackle, out across the 33-yard line, brought down by a gang of Nebraska defenders. Chalk it up to Trevor Roach there on the tackle.
It's a good job by Greg McMullen. He turned the play up the field, and the linebacker was able to come across and push him out of bounds.
So a gain of about 3 there, brings up 2nd and 7 on the 34. 14:35 here to go in the first quarter. We're just getting underway. Single back, Wiseman only back behind Rudock in this offense. 1 receiver to each side, 2 tight ends. Tight end moves in motion from right to left, trips on the left side. They're going to run it back to the right side. Picks up about 2 or 3 a gang of Nebraska defenders there to get him. Vincent Valentine and Malik Collins among those that made the tackle.
Like you said, Vincent Valentine, he just owned his man up front. Jordan Walsh didn't really have a chance there, and Mark Weissman ran into Big Bear up front, Vincent Valentine.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 here on Iowa's opening drive. Under 14 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Ball on their 37 right hash. Hawkeyes in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the left. Rudock scanning the defense. Wiseman to his right. He drops back. He's looking to his left. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to try and run for it. Gets out across the 40, and he might have enough for the first down. It appears he does by about a yard. Tackle made on the play by Greg McMullen, but not before Rudock picks up a Hawkeye first down.
It's good coverage by the black shirts. Weissman was back in the pocket for about 3 seconds. You scan in the field. Nothing there. Took what he got and just got enough for the first down.
So Iowa in the shotgun there on that 3rd and 5. Not something you typically see out of this team, but effective there. Come out, single back formation. 2 wide receivers to the left, tight end on each side of the formation. Rudock, again, changing things at the line of scrimmage. 8 Huskers in the box. Hand off to Wise. When he gets out to the right side, he's got some space across the 50. Pushed out of bounds at the 45. Nate Gary pushes him out of bounds.
That was actually Jordan Kanziri on the rush. That's a junior, number 33 for Iowa. They had a good job sealing that left side and sprung Kanziri for a 15-yard gain.
So a great bit of running there by Jordan Kanziri off the right side of the Nebraska defense. Lost contain there. 2 wide receivers again for Rudock. Kanziri in the backfield for the Hawkeyes. And they're going to go to him again off the left side. This time he's strung out. Met in the hole there by Gary. Great job by him on the tackle. Not a lot there for the Hawkeyes on that play.
Yeah, it was a good job by the Husker front line. They spaced it out to the right side, and there was nowhere to go for Kanziri, and Gary met him in the backfield.
Brings up a 2nd and 11 on the 43-yard line. 12:15 to go here in the first quarter. Iowa on their opening drive. Kanziri still the back behind Rudock. Rudock under center. Tight end moves from left to right. Drops back to pass. Rudock checks down to that tight end. It's caught out across the 35-yard line. That's Jake Doozy on the catch. Picks up another Iowa first down.
Just a simple slant pattern. Rudock dropped back. 2-step drop, 3-step drop. Jake Doozy was wide open, had a nice little one-handed catch, and they just got 15 more yards. They're about to move into the Nebraska red zone.
So 1st and 10 on the 30. Not the start that Bo Pelini and Papuchis wanted on the defensive side of the ball for Nebraska as Iowa comes out in the I formation. As Wiseman, the back in the backfield, brings it up the middle. Met there by Zaire Anderson after a gain of maybe 2. Brings up about a 2nd and 8 here.
Our key player on the defense, Zaire Anderson, made a great play there. He shot in from the right side, meeting Mark Weissman right in the middle. And Mark Weissman, he had one big run so far, but the Nebraska defense has done a pretty good job on the ground.
Rudock in the I formation here. 2 wide receivers to his left side. Tight end on the right. Wiseman dotting the I. A play action roll out to the right side. Rudock throws it to the flat to his fullback there. Looked like Macon Pluau on the reception. Anyways, picks up another Iowa first down. That was John Kenny, the fullback, on the flat route on that bootleg action. And, Alex, the Hawkeyes are in business.
Yeah, as we've seen against the Nebraska defense so far this year, there has been a lot of first drive success. I think I saw a stat. It's on the opening drive, Nebraska's led 8 touchdowns and a field goal in the first drive.
Kanziri in the backfield behind Rudock. Motion from right to left. 2 tight ends on that side. They're going to run that way. Here's Kanziri. Cuts it up across the 10. Down to the 6-yard line before Nate Gary brings him down for the Huskers. And this has this Hawkeye crowd going wild here early.
That was a really good block by right guard Jordan Walsh, number 65 from Iowa. He pulled on the play, springing some room for Kanziri, and it is another big rush. And now the Iowa Hawkeyes have the ball on the 7-yard line.
Hawkeyes in business here. 1st and goal. We'll call it the 6.5-yard line. Husker defense, not what they wanted to get off to the start. not the start they wanted to get off to here. As Rudak's in the gun, Wiseman on his left, 3 wide receivers to his right side. Rudak scanning the defense. He's going to pass. Quarterback draw. Husker defense was ready for it. Nothing going there. That's Malik Collins. Did not fall for the quarterback draw. Makes a great play in the backfield. Iowa loses one on that one.
Yeah, it didn't look like the play had a lot going there. I mean, Nebraska only had 2 cornerbacks and a safety out on these 3 wide receivers, and it looked like they were kind of expecting that to come.
The Hawkeyes, again, 3 wide receivers to the right side. 2nd and goal here at the 7, 9:14 to go in the first quarter. Wiseman to the left of Rudak in the gun. Rudak takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's looking to the end zone. Batted down. Great play there by Byerson Cockrell. We mentioned he's getting the start in place of Corey Cooper today. Does a great job there, knocking that one down in the end zone. Incomplete.
Yeah, with Byerson Cockrell, you kind of take a hit with the run defense. I mean, Corey Cooper, he's a big hitter. He's a big guy who can fill some holes. But in the passing game, you're going to have some more positive play out of Byerson Cockrell. And you see it right there. We knocked the ball away from the wide receiver, and now we got 3rd down.
So 3rd and goal for the Hawkeyes. The Nebraska defense trying to bend but not break. Rudak in the gun. He's looking to his right. He fires it, end zone, intercepted. Nate Gary picks it off at the goal line. He's out across the 5, brought down at the 10-yard line. But what a play by Nate Gary, and that's the type of start that Nebraska needed.
Like you said, bend, don't break, and how many times have we heard Nathan Gary's name this year? He had a tough game against Wisconsin, but, man, this kid's only a sophomore, and he's going to have a bright future here at Nebraska.
Nate Gary with the interception in the end zone, pass intended for Jake Doozy. Gary steps in front of it, and just like that, sucks the life right out of this stadium. You could hear a pin drop in this place, Alex. Fans were ready to see an opening drive touchdown, but Nate Gary had other ideas.
Yeah, I was rolling. I bet you they're kicking themselves for not coming away with any points right now. But Nebraska's got the ball on the 10-yard line, and we're going to have to see what Tommy Armstrong and the boys can do today.
So Amir Abdullah going to be in the backfield. He had the injury earlier in the season against Purdue, a sprained MCL. He's been able to play, hasn't been exactly the same running back we've been accustomed to seeing earlier in the season, whether that's a fact that they've been playing better defenses, maybe it's the knee. He's not the same. He doesn't have the same type of explosiveness we've come to see out of Amir Abdullah. But Alex, Amir's going to have a big game for the Huskers here today.
Yeah, he's going to have a big game. He's got to have a big game. It's been a slow couple weeks for Amir after that injury against Purdue. But he says he's feeling more like he's 100%, and he's going to try to go without his brace today. So hopefully his cutting game is going to be a lot better than it has in the last couple weeks, and we see a little more of those. We see him break some more of those arm tackles that we're so used to seeing.
The Husker defense, if you're just joining us, 8:54 here to go in the first quarter. Still 0-0. Iowa took their opening drive all the way down to the Nebraska 6-yard line before stalling. Nate Gary picked off a Jake Rudak pass intended for Jake Doozy. Brought it out to the 10-yard line here. And Alex. And the Huskers take the ball at the 10-yard line, 1st and 10. Armstrong, the quarterback, 2 wide receivers to the right side. Kenny Bell, DeMornay Pearsonell, lightning in a bottle for the Huskers this season. Amir Abdullah behind Armstrong. Armstrong under center, not something you typically see. Handoff goes to Amir Abdullah. He's up the middle, gets out across the 16-yard line, brought down by a gang of Hawkeyes. Quentin Alston alongside Carl Davis there on the tackle for Iowa.
Yeah, this is we're seeing Nebraska in the I formation. We saw a little bit of it last week against Minnesota where we lined up and ran the ball 19 times in a row. But Tim Beck and the boys have something dialed up here.
2 wide receivers on the right side. Again, Bell and Pearsonell. Ethan Carter in the tight end. Amir Abdullah dotting the I. He'll get it again. Off the right guard. Not a lot going there. Might have gained 1. Might bring up a 3rd and about 1.5 yards here for the Huskers. That'll get this crowd going.
Looks like a real conservative offensive game plan so far from Nebraska. We've lined up in the I formation twice, and we've gotten 2 ISOs up the middle. It's 3rd and short, and
Andy Janovich is the fullback in the I formation. Nebraska coming out in the big boy set. Amir Abdullah dotting the I. 3rd and 1 here for the Huskers. And there's movement early on the Nebraska side of things. It looked like Ethan Carter, along with Stirrup on that right side, got a little too anxious, and that draws a false start penalty on the Huskers.
This has been the story of the Nebraska O-line all season. If it's not personal fouls, holdings, it's a false start. And Nebraska had a nice, easy 3rd and 1, and that's going to push them back to 3rd and 6.
And just the percentage you have of getting a 3rd and 1 opposed to a 3rd and 6 is just a huge difference. Not a play you remember, per se, a false start like that, but just something that you have to avoid at all costs as an offensive lineman. Undisciplined play.
The stadium is getting louder here, folks.
3rd and 6 from their own 14. Armstrong in the gun, 5 wide receivers, empty set. Pearsonell near side on the right. Armstrong looks for the quarterback draw. He's got some space. He's out across the 20. Picks up the first down. Makes a move. Brought down there by John Loudermilk, but that's enough for a Nebraska first down.
Yeah, it was a good play call by Tim Beck. We've seen that the last couple of weeks. The draw play for Nebraska has really worked for them. They fooled the defense. It was a man defense. They all had their backs turned, and Tommy Armstrong had a wide-open midfield for a 15-yard gain.
So 1st and 10 for Nebraska at their own 28 now after the Nate Gary interception. Under 7 minutes here to go. Amani Cross, Armstrong in the pistol. Cross steps up to his right side now. Armstrong, a little read option game with him. Gives it up the middle to Cross. Cross barrels his way forward, picks up about 7 yards. Good push from the Nebraska offensive line.
Yeah, Nebraska, they're making some holes right now. They're averaging about 4.5 yards per rush at this point, and they're making some big holes. We're going to have to see if Iowa's defense can plug them up and stop Amir Abdullah and Amani Cross.
Andy Janovich in for Nebraska, Alex. We haven't seen a lot of him this year, but they're bringing the fullback in, and it's been effective so far.
Yeah, I mean, they've needed this offensive line, struggled over the last couple weeks, and he's going to make a big impact on this game.
Armstrong, stretch play across off the left side, meets that tough Iowa defensive line right at the 35. Might have gained a yard, might have just gotten back to the line of scrimmage on that one. Good job by Josie Jewell, the linebacker for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Josie Jewell, he's kind of an instinctive linebacker for that Iowa defense. Might not be the most skilled guy, but he knows where to be at all times, and he was right on the outside of Lewis on that one, and there was nowhere to go for Cross.
Another big 3rd down for the Huskers, 3rd and 2 at their own 36. They got quads off to the right side. Armstrong's going to roll that way. Finds Amir Abdullah off his hands, incomplete pass. Unable to reel that one in. Not a bad throw, not perfect, but one that Amir Abdullah should have caught.
Yeah, it was a little bit on his backside, but Amir Abdullah should have had it. It's tough to catch the football in this kind of weather. The ball's cold, their hands are numb. It's time to punt for Nebraska, but we'll see what they can do on their next drive.
Sam Foltz to punt for the Cornhuskers. Matt Vandenberg, the sophomore, back deep for the Hawkeyes. About the 22-yard line he's standing. Foltz standing right at the 20. Foltz gets the punt off. It's a good one. Sends Vandenberg back to his own 15. He fields it there. He's got some room off the left side. He's across the 25, out to the 30. He fumbles the football. Nebraska's got it. Ethan Carter on the recovery. And Nebraska with the special teams turnover. Sam Foltz is fired up.
Yeah, there's a big play by Courtney Love. Nebraska, he's a sophomore linebacker. They've been talking about trying to get him on the field more, and if he can't get on the field to play defense, he's going to make an impact on special teams. And what a play right there. Nebraska's got the ball now on the 34-yard line and with prime field position.
So 2 quick turnovers for this Iowa team gives the football to Nebraska in prime position. They're going to take over at the 34, 1st and 10 with 5:15 to go here. Ethan Carter with the fumble recovery on special teams. Armstrong in the pistol now. Abdullah behind him. 2 wide receivers to the right side, Westerkamp and Pearsonell. Armstrong with the clap snap. Gives it to Amir off to the left side. Runs in to a gang of Iowa defenders. Drew Ott there among the Iowa defenders on the tackle.
Not much room for Amir Abdullah. Got a 2-yard rush out of it, but Drew Ott did a good job turned the play inside, got inside the left tackle, and was waiting for him. Those stretch plays right now, it looks like Iowa's got them sniffed out a little bit, and there hasn't been too much running room.
2nd and 8 now for Nebraska on the 32-yard line. We're under 5 minutes here to go in the first quarter. Off the fumble on the punt return, Matt Vandenberg for Iowa coughed it up as Armstrong, read option game, stretches it out to the right side, met in the backfield by the Hawkeyes. Nate Meyer in there on the tackle for Iowa.
Zone read, there was 2 decisions. Amir Abdullah got swallowed up quick. Tommy was running right. There was nowhere to go. Took what he could and only got a yard out of it. It's 3rd and 6, 4 minutes to go in our game.
3rd and 6 now for the Huskers at the 30-yard line. Crowd getting loud here in Iowa City. A turnover by the punt return unit and the defense trying to shut the door on the Huskers. Armstrong in the gun. Abdullah to his right. 3 wide receivers to the left. Kenny Bell isolated on the right side. Armstrong takes the snap, drops back, pressured. He's going to escape up the middle, but then he's brought down. Carl Davis in on the tackle for the Hawkeyes. Going to bring up a 4th down, and the crowd here loves that one, Alex.
Yeah, Iowa had 3 defenders in the backfield. Their D-line made great penetration right off the snap of the ball, and Tommy Armstrong didn't have enough time to find someone across the field. Jordan Westerkamp was running across the field, but they couldn't find Westerkamp. So now Nebraska will be trying to field goal from the 30-yard line, making it a
49-yard attempt here for Drew Brown. Right hash. Wynn at his back. Snaps down. Kick is up. Not going to get it. Wide right there for Drew Brown, so the Hawkeyes dodge a bullet on the turnover. They're going to take over at their own 32 here with 3:06 to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. We are back here at Kinnick Stadium. Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera here, up in the press box on a chilly Friday, Black Friday game after Thanksgiving, the Hy-Vee Heroes game, the Nebraska-Iowa rivalry. Alex, Nebraska forces the fumble on the punt return, takes over at the 32-yard line. Unable to show any points for it, though.
Yeah, they were able to take over. I mean, Iowa, they had a great first drive, and Nebraska had a great second drive. Nebraska, they couldn't convert on that field goal, but the defenses came out. They forced 2 turnovers. I know the one was on the special teams, but you got to like to see that. Nebraska looks like they're hungry for the ball, and hopefully they can keep it up the rest of this game.
You know, it kind of reminds me of that Nebraska-Michigan State game. They forced the early interception, Randy Gregory picking off the Connor Cook tipped pass, unable to get points out of that drive. See that here today. You can't help but think if Nebraska wants to win this game, you got to get points when you get the football inside the 35-yard line.
Especially with the way this crowd's rocking today, you'd have to take what you can get, and it would have been really nice to come away with some points there, but they didn't. So this Nebraska defense is going to have to try to make a stand against this Iowa offense. They did have great success against this defense in the first drive.
The Hawkeyes move down the field on the opening drive. They're back at it. Jordan Canzeri, the lone back behind Rudock. Rudock, man in motion from left to right. They're going to give it to him on the jet sweep. We've seen that before. That's Parker. Jonathan Parker on the jet sweep coming from left to right. Picks up about 5 or 6. Taking film from maybe that Wisconsin game and using it against Nebraska here.
We've seen this for 3 weeks now. Wisconsin runs the jet sweep. Minnesota ran the jet sweep. And why wouldn't Iowa run the jet sweep? I mean, teams have had success against Nebraska with it, so why go away from it?
So 2nd and 6 now for the Hawkeyes. 2:45 to go here in the first quarter. Ball on their own 36-yard line. Rudock under center. Canzeri behind him. It's going to be a run to Canzeri off the right side. Following his right tackle, Andrew Donnell picks up about 4. Going to bring up a 3rd and about 2 here with under 2:30 to go in the first quarter.
And this is where Nebraska and Iowa are different. I expect Iowa to run the football. Nebraska had a 3rd and 2 situation not too long ago. They tried a little out past him. Amir Abdullah went through his hands. I think Iowa's going to be conservative, keep the ball on. They have Mark Weisman in the game and expect the ball to go to him.
So a power look in for the Hawkeyes. One wide receiver. Weisman gets it off to the right guard. Picks up about 3 or 4, but enough to move the chains there, Alex.
Yeah, Mark Weisman, he's low to handle. He's been a name in the Big Ten for the last couple of years that you just keep hearing about. He's not the flashy guy, but he's going to get it done for you. He's got 14 touchdowns this season, and he looks like he's poised to have another big day against Nebraska on his senior day.
So Iowa, they're not going to make it pretty. You know what they want to do. They want to run the football, and they're doing it effectively here. As Rudock under center, Kanzeri the lone back behind him, 2 tight end set. It goes to Kanzeri. Nebraska gets great pressure there, and they wrap him up in the backfield. Give credit to Vincent Valentine on that one.
Yeah, both defensive tackles. Vince Valentine not in on the play. It was Kevin Williams. Both defensive tackles pushed in on the guards and center. There was no room for Kanzeri to move, and they made the tackle.
Lost a yard on the play. 2nd and 11 here from the Iowa 45 Hawkeyes. Looking to get some points here. We're at 1:05 remaining in the first quarter. 0-0 here still in Kinnick. Rudock's going to throw this time. Drops back. He's got pressure. He's sacked. Malik Collins got one paw on him and was able to bring him down with one hand. Credit the sack to Malik Collins on that one.
Yeah, Austin Blythe, the left guard from Iowa, he didn't have a chance on that one. Malik Collins, he's got one of the best first steps I've seen in a long time. Had the quick move right off the snap, and he was in the backfield before you know it, taking down Jake Rudock. It is now 3rd and 20 for the Iowa Hawkeyes with 30 seconds left in the first quarter.
So 3rd and 20 here. This is not a down and distance that Iowa really wants to get familiar with. We'll see what they do here. Rudock's going to drop back to pass. He's going to air it out deep. Receiver being held. That's Kalu on the holding call. The intended receiver was Cavante Martin Manley being held up by Kalu. And that's going to be an automatic first down for Iowa.
Yeah, it was a really bad play by Joshua Kalu. Cavante Martin-Manelli, he's a wide receiver that can stretch the defense. He's about one of the only wide receivers that can do that for Iowa. Josh Kalu, just kind of a bonehead play. He's just grabbing him all the way down the field. But sometimes it's better to take the 15-yard penalty than to let up a 50-yard bomb.
I'm not so sure, Alex, that pass would have been complete anyway. It looked like it was a tad bit overthrown. But when you're holding the receiver like Kalu was in that situation, it's a no-brainer for the officials. So Iowa gets out of the 3rd and 20 by way of a Joshua Kalu defensive pass interference penalty, and that's going to give Iowa the ball on the Nebraska side of the field right at the 49-yard line. 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, still scoreless. Iowa driving, gets the penalty, picks up the first down. Rudock under center. Wiseman behind him. Turns, hands. Wiseman off to the left side. Picks up about 3, maybe 4. That's classic Big Ten football there, Alex.
Zary Anderson and Kevin Williams on the stop. This is going to be, like you said, this is Big Ten football. This is going to be a game of power. This is going to be a game of running. It's cold out, and it's been a battle of line of scrimmage. We're currently at 0-0. It looks like it's going to be a defensive battle. Kind of looks reminiscent of that game in 2012 against Iowa.
So your score after the first quarter, the Huskers 0, Hawkeyes 0. We'll be back with the second quarter after a quick word from our sponsors. Thanks for coming back here. Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera here at Kinnick Stadium, getting ready for the start of the second quarter here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Still scoreless at 0, Alex. Nebraska already forced 2 turnovers, unable to do anything with them.
Yeah, nothing to show for it. They forced 2 turnovers, one on special teams, one on the first drive, and Nathan Gary pick. Took it to the 10-yard line. Really didn't do much with that. The Nebraska offense has kind of struggled so far today. I mean, both offenses for that matter. Nebraska's only put up 33 yards so far all rushing. So Tommy Armstrong is going to have a better day through the air if this Nebraska offense expects to be able to move the football. And Iowa currently has 71 yards after the first quarter, 49 rushing and 22 passing.
Iowa with a very successful first drive of the game before the interception in the end zone by Nate Gary. They're going to take over here 2nd and 5 at the 44 to start the second quarter. Jordan Kanzeri, again, the lone back here in this Iowa set. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 on each side. Rudock under center now for the Hawkeyes. Tight end moves in motion from left to right. They're going to run that way. Gives it to Kanzeri. He cuts it upfield across the 40, picks up another Hawkeye first down. Alex, they're just really pounding this Nebraska team on the ground.
Yeah, it's been the same story for the last 3 weeks. It's Melvin Gordon, Cobb, and now we got Jordan Canzeri and Mark Weissman. Like we said earlier in the show, it's a running back by committee for Iowa, and these running backs don't really get tired, and they just want to take that life out of the Nebraska defense.
So the Hawkeyes now on the 37-yard line, 1st and 10 from the right hash. Rudock under center. Canzeri the back in the backfield. Again, that typical 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver set. The lone back is Canzeri. Play action. Rudock's going to take his shot. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Pass was intended for Cavante Martin Manley. He ran an out route. Looked like Rudock thought he was going to go to the end zone. Brings up an incomplete pass.
Byerson Cockrell also got a nice hit on Jake Rudock. He came right down the middle. They ran a little crossing scheme on the defensive line, letting Byerson Cockrell shoot right through, putting Jake Rudock on the ground. We're at 2nd and 10.
So maybe a nice blitz dialed up there by Papuchis. Got some pressure on Rudock. And here's something you won't see every day, folks. Iowa, the empty set, 5 wide receivers. The Nebraska defense looks like they're scrambling a little bit, but they're set now. Rudock drops back to pass, hits his tight end, taken out across the 30, down to the 26-yard line. Ray Hamilton on the catch. Credit Trevor Roach on the tackle, but not before the Hawkeyes pick up another first down.
Nebraska's had a lot of troubles covering tight ends on that play-action play. They kind of seemed to slip behind our linebacking core, and it was an easy throw for Jake Rudock, and if you're going to give him that type of room to fit the football in, he's going to kill you all game.
So 1st and 10 from the 27 for the Hawkeyes. Left hash now, I formation. Wiseman dots the I. It's a bootleg to the right. Dumped off to the fullback, tipped up into the air, almost intercepted by Zaire Anderson, unable to corral it. Brings up a very scary incomplete pass for Iowa.
Really good defense, especially Greg McMullen. He was waiting for that boot. I was going to run that a lot today. They run a lot of bootlegs, and McMullen was there, forcing a tough throw. Rudock tried lobbing it over him to his tight end, and it just wasn't there, and we're on to the next down.
2nd and 10 now for the Hawkeyes. 3 wide receivers. Cavante Martin Manley in the slot on the right side. Wiseman the back in the backfield. Rudock checking things at the line of scrimmage. Takes the snap, hands it off to Wiseman out across the right side. Cockrell came up to make the tackle, unable to make it, but then Malik Collins gobbles him up after a gain of about 3, we'll call it 4. Brings up a 3rd and about 6 now with 13:30 to go here. Ball at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, we've been hearing his name a lot today, and Malik Collins has had a pretty good game to this point, and hopefully he can keep it up for the Nebraska defense.
So the Hawkeyes not going to huddle, going to look to the sideline as they've really been doing all game, getting the call. Looks like they might come out in the gun yet again, and they will. 3 wide receivers to the left side of Rudock. Wiseman next to him in the gun on his right. He drops back on a 3rd down. Throws it across the middle. It's caught. Cavante Martin Manley out across the 15-yard line. Picks up a Hawkeye first down before he's forced out of bounds by Joshua Kalu.
What a crisp route by Cavante Martin Manelli. I mean, it's just a nice, easy out route. Jake Rudock put it right on the money, and it's another first down for Iowa. They're doing a really good job on 3rd downs today.
The Hawkeyes, it hasn't really been this Nebraska defense that stopped them. It's been the turnover in the red zone, and then the special teams blunder on the punt return. Once again, Hawkeyes in business here. 1st and 10 at their 14, at the Nebraska 14-yard line. Iowa looks like they might be forced to burn a timeout here. Maybe not sure what was going on. So that we'll take a timeout with them. We'll be back right after this. Your score right now, Nebraska 0, Iowa 0 with 12:27 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Welcome back once more here at Kinnick Stadium. I'm Max Baker alongside my partner Alex Zastera. Here in the 2nd quarter, Iowa in the red zone. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Alex, this Nebraska defense has not been able to stop this Hawkeye offense thus far. It's just been the Hawkeyes turning the football over.
Yeah, the Hawkeyes have made they haven't been that big of mistakes to this point. That one in the red zone might really come back to bite them. They were on the 10, couldn't get it in there. But the with Nebraska not being able to capitalize on either of those turnovers and having this game be scoreless to this point, Iowa's got to be feeling really good at where they're at, and they might potentially put one in the end zone here.
The crowd here at Kinnick Stadium rocking. The winner of this game, reminder, will finish in third in the Big Ten West. Loser sitting at fourth, and for both of these teams came into this season with very high expectations. Third and fourth are not where these two programs want to be. So you know that both of these teams really want this game, and it's gut check time for this Husker defense. See if they can shut the door now that the Hawkeyes are in the red zone.
Yeah, I want to see what this Nebraska defense can do without Randy Gregory. I want to see if they can stiffen up. Also, Vincent Valentine, he hasn't played too much today. There's been a nice rotation of Kevin Williams and him. I don't know if Vincent Valentine's quite 100% today, but this Nebraska defense needs to make a stand.
So Rudock again in the I formation. Kanzeri dots the I on the right hash. They're going to run it off to the right side. Kanzeri shows great patience, but he's brought down by Nate Gary after a gain of about 3 yards. Mark him down at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, that power game from Iowa just seems like it's working, just like the last couple weeks against Nebraska. They're getting about 3 to 4 yards a pop, and it's just working for Iowa, and if Nebraska's not going to be able to stop it, they're not going to go away from it.
And Iowa again in the I formation. Kanzeri again, the I back. Rudock under center. Two wide receivers, Tavon Smith and Cavante Martin-Manley out left. They're going to run it out to the left side, up the middle. Gobbled up there. Looked like Kevin Williams in on the tackle for Nebraska. Might have gained 2, maybe 3. Going to bring up a pretty critical 3rd and 4 here for the Hawkeyes at the Nebraska 8-yard line.
Yep, Jack Gangwish, the replacement for Gregory and Kevin Williams, they both did a good job beating the left side down, and there was nowhere to go for Kanzeri.
So it'll be interesting to see what Iowa does here. We've seen them have some success in the shotgun. Looks like they're going to come out in the gun yet again. Rudock in the gun. Wiseman on his left. Tavon Smith split out right to it on his right by himself. He's going to look that way. They bring a corner blitz. The sack. The Nebraska defense. Looks like he fumbled the football. Excuse me. Nebraska gets the turnover.
And the leading tackler for the Nebraska defense forces a sack for Nebraska. Zaire Anderson, the ball popped out, it shot forward. It might be looked at to see if it was an incomplete pass, but Trevor Roach jumped on it right away, did a good job returning the ball to about the 15-yard line.
We've got a lot of confused fans taking a look at the scoreboard. Count me as one of them. Looked like he got sacked, didn't see the ball come out. We
got a replay coming up here.
Gonna get a look at it here. And unsure, really, as we're taking a look on the screen. Ball looked like it was coming forward. The question will be, was the arm moving forward before the ball was dislodged, or was it a fumble that just happened to roll forward?
If I have to make a decision on this play, it looked to me like he was bringing the ball down to go forward. I don't know if he made that initial movement to actually go forward. It looked like he was just about to give him that throwing motion. It's going to be a really tough call for this Big Ten officiating crew.
So the play is under review as we get another look here. Rudock stepped up in the pocket. It was Zaire Anderson bringing the pressure.
It looks excuse me, that was Daniel Davey.
On the pressure, Nebraska dialed up a nice blitz package there on a crucial 3rd down.
It's really good to see Daniel Davey making some big plays, but as we keep watching this replay, it's looking like the ball was moving forward. Nebraska didn't get that great of a return on it, but it looks like Iowa's probably going to have an easy field goal attempt after
We've got the Iowa fans here in front of us all motioning that it was forward. Remember, it was ruled a fumble on the field, and the referees rule it that it is a fumble, so maybe not enough evidence to overturn the call. So Nebraska, again, forces a turnover in the red zone, shuts the door on this Iowa attack.
And Nebraska's been able to do that on the road. I mean, if you guys remember when we were down in Wisconsin, or up in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago, we forced 4 fumbles in the first half, and we had 3 recovered fumbles. So Nebraska's defense is used to doing this on the road. Just need to capitalize.
So crowd getting loud now as Armstrong is under center. Handoff to Amir Abdullah. out across the 15 to the 17-yard line, brought down by John Loudermilk.
Yeah, it was a good play. Nebraska's rush offense really hasn't been able to get going today. They've been averaging about 3.7 yards per rush. You'd like to see that be a little bit higher, and we're just going to have to see when Nebraska and Amir Abdullah and this Nebraska offense can bust one off.
So the Huskers with the ball now, 2nd and 4 at their own 17 after the forced fumble in the red zone. Armstrong again turns, hands it to Amir Abdullah. We saw a flag there. This one might be coming back, Alex.
Yeah, that flag was out there real quick. Expect a holding or an illegal formation on this one. It was a little late for false start, but the Nebraska offensive line looks like inconsistencies are going to have to keep going.
So a holding on the Nebraska offensive line. It looked like it was out on that right side. Not sure if it was Mowdy or Stirrup, but again, another costly penalty for this Nebraska offensive line. Brings them back.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the story of the last couple of years. I mean, the last couple of games for Nebraska. The offensive line, they looked really good in the beginning of the year, but over the last couple of weeks, there's been a little bit of injuries. Like we said, Mark Pelini's not playing in this game. He rolled up his ankle against Minnesota last week in the very first play in the game on his senior day. So this offensive line, they're kind of going through adversity right now, and we got to see what they can do in this tough football game.
So 2nd and 13 from the 8 now for Nebraska. 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. We're still scoreless here in Iowa City. Handoff goes off to the left side, and a whole host of Iowa defenders meet him there. Desmond King, the sophomore corner, comes up from his cornerback position, makes a great tackle on Amir Abdullah off that left side.
Like we said, the key to this Iowa defense has to be their secondary. They love running up and popping people on the run, and they can also take the ball away when the ball is thrown up and forced into tough spots. So this Iowa secondary has done a great job. They haven't let up a passing yards to this point, and I expect to see more great things from this Iowa defense.
Armstrong under center. Pearsonell in motion from left to right. Kenny Bell and Pearsonell out to the right side. Armstrong's going to go deep to him. That ball's tipped up in the air, intercepted by Loudermilk. He's going to go into the end zone.
Like we said in the pre-show, Loudermilk, he's that pesky guy. He's he's always with the ball, and the ball gets tipped. Armstrong took a little too much time in that situation. Easy interception. It was almost like a center fielder out in the outfield, just a simple fly ball, took it to the house, touchdown Iowa, 7-0.
Loudermilk fielded it at about the 25-yard line. Armstrong's arm looked like it got hit on the throw attempt. Looked like he was going to try and stretch the field to Kenny Bell. Instead, the senior, John Loudermilk, fields the interception, races into the end zone, gives Iowa its first points of the game. And now the extra point is tacked on. Iowa with the 7-0 lead, Alex. They can't score on offense, so the defense says, you know what, guys, we got it.
In a game like this, getting defensive touchdowns and putting the ball in the end zone on defense, it's a big thing in a game like this. It's cold out. You know the offenses are going to struggle. It's windy. You got Nebraska on the roads, and now they have Nebraska on the ropes. We'll have to see if Nebraska can do something with this drive and actually get the ball moving. And like we said, Nebraska has 0 pass yards to this point, and now they have another interception for Tommy Armstrong.
So the Iowa crowd going wild. We're going to take a quick break. We'll bring you the rest of this game here on 90.3 KRNU. Nebraska, Iowa. John Loudermilk takes the interception back 25 yards for the touchdown. The senior on senior day probably got the biggest ovation of any Hawkeye, and you saw it there. The interception returned for a touchdown, giving Iowa the 7-0 lead here with 9:07 to go in the second quarter. It's up to this Nebraska offense to respond now, Alex.
Yeah, the Nebraska offense, they've been really stagnant so far. They've only compiled 33 yards of total offense to this point. They have 0 passing yards, and we really haven't seen the healthy Amir Abdullah that we've heard that we're going to see.
As we are being taunted in the booth here by some Iowa fans in front of us, making the IOWA here.
Yeah, they got some great fans up here in Iowa. This is the first Husker road game broadcast for me, but they're loving what they're seeing here in Iowa, and you can't blame them. Just made a big play on defense, and this Iowa Hawkeye crowd is ready to go.
They want this upset bad. They want to prove to Nebraska that they are an equal rival. Went into Lincoln last year, as we've mentioned before, with the 38-17 victory over the Cornhuskers in Iowa. They would love nothing more to get a W on Senior Day, which would put Nebraska with a fourth-place finish in the Big Ten Western Division.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. Nebraska doesn't want to go that way, but sometimes seasons just don't swing your way. And the last couple games, this stretch for Nebraska has been really tough. They've been tough teams. I think Minnesota's a lot better than people are giving them credit for. And Wisconsin, they're kind of reminding me of Texas a little bit. It's just the team we can't beat. I mean, we beat them in 2012, but it took a 17-point comeback. So Iowa's ready for this game, and it seems like they really want this one.
So DeMornay, Pearson L, and Kenny Bell back deep to receive. Looks like it's going to go to Kenny Bell deep in the end zone. He's just going to field this one, take a knee here. So Nebraska will take over off of the interception that was returned for a touchdown. What do you say as an offensive coordinator? You're Tim Beck. What do you tell your guys going back onto the field now?
I really don't know what to say to these guys. I mean, if I'm Tim Beck, we've really lost identity on offense over the last couple weeks. We see Nebraska come out and run the ball a couple times out of the I formation, and then they completely ditch that, and then they go to some zone read action. So you really don't know what this Nebraska offense is going to do.
So Armstrong under center now. He's going to bootleg out to the right side. Steps up. He's going to scramble. Picks up two. Taken down by a whole host of Hawkeye defenders there. Looked like Greg Mabin in on the tackle for the Hawkeyes after a gain of about 3 or 4.
Greg Mabin's another one out there that we wish we could have spent more time talking about on the pre-show. Mabin, he's got NFL talent. Both these corners on this Iowa defense are both sophomores, and they look like they have a great future ahead of them. Both two guys that could probably play on the NFL level if they progress just a little bit more. But, man, he's got speed, and he just ran Tommy Armstrong right out of bounds.
And it looks like Armstrong is a bit shaken up on the play. Trainers out to attend him at about the 25-yard line. He's able to walk off under his own power. Don't want to speculate on what the injury might be, but in any sense, he's going to be forced to miss a play here. And if you're Nebraska, that's the last thing you want to see. Your starting quarterback, granted, he has struggled at times this season, but you never want to put in a backup quarterback when it's cold. And the Iowa crowd senses some blood in the water here, Alex. They're getting loud.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're putting in a backup quarterback who doesn't have that much experience on the season. I mean, he came in, his last work was against Wisconsin in cleanup duty when they were just absolutely killing us in the Michigan State game. Let's see what he's got.
Riker Fife in the shotgun. Amir Abdul on his right side. Man in motion from left to right. He's going to hand it to him. It's Pearson L. Pearson L able to make a move. Picks up about 2 yards before he's forced out of bounds by Jordan Lamox. So 3rd and 4 for Nebraska. Riker Fife, the backup quarterback, still in the game. Armstrong being attended to on the sideline. We'll keep you posted if we hear anything. Couldn't really tell from our vantage point. So 5 wide receivers. We've seen this with Armstrong earlier. Riker Fife's turn in the gun. 3rd and 4 from the 31-yard line. Fife takes the snap. Looking left, overthrows his intended receiver. Looked like Pearson L on the quick out route. And that's going to force a Nebraska punt as the punt unit trots out onto the field for the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, that was really, really good defense by John Loudermilk. He was right on DeMornay. It looked like the ball was a little bit overthrown. It skipped right into Jordan Westerkamp, who was about 10 yards behind Pearson L. And Iowa's got to be licking their chops right now. They got a backup quarterback in the game, got a 7-point lead, and they're about to get the ball back.
So 7-0 Iowa, 4th and 4 for the Huskers. They're going to punt. Foltz, Matt Vandenberg back deep to receive. And not a great punt there by Sam Foltz, probably his worst punt of the season. Referees going to mark this one out at about the 36-yard line. So Iowa going to have great field position to start this drive. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Back here at Kinnick Stadium, Max Baker joined up in the broadcasting booth by Alex Zastera. We've checked Twitter, the beauty of the times we live in now. It appears it might have been Armstrong's midsection. Not sure exactly what the injury is. Don't want to speculate on it like we mentioned. In any case, Iowa takes over with the ball 1st and 10 on their 38-yard line with the 7-0 lead. If you're just joining us, Iowa scored a touchdown. John Loudermilk, an interception returned for a touchdown, gave Iowa the 7-0 lead, and that's where we sit right now with 7:52 here to go in the second quarter. So the Hawkeyes at the 38, Rudock under center. Wiseman behind him, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 of each on each side. Ball on the left hash. They're going to run right. Wiseman plows his way out across the 40, picks up about 4. We'll give him 5 on that one. Looked like Santos was in on the tackle on that one. Met him in the hole, but was driven back a few yards. Brings up a 2nd and 6 for the Hawkeyes.
That running game from Iowa has been consistent as the game's gone on. It looks like they're getting about 4 to 5 yards a pop. They had a couple long runs in the first drive, but they've been consistent getting those runs.
So Rudock again in that 2 tight end set. Tight end moves in motion from right to left. Canzeri the back. He's going to take the handoff off to the right side. And Nate Gary makes a fantastic play in the backfield. Runs up from his safety spot and gobbles up Jordan Canzeri in the backfield.
He did a great job on that play. That's his second big-time play of the game today. About a 4-yard or a 2-yard loss for the Iowa Hawkeye offense. And Nebraska is licking their chops on this 3rd and long. They've been great in this situation all year. Time to take it away from them.
So Rudock in the gun with the question marks on the Huskers' offensive side of the ball. It's critical for the defense to step up. This is a big moment. Rudock in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the left side. That's the wide side of the field. Tavon Smith to the boundary to the right. Rudock drops back the pass. He's got time in the pocket. Steps up, throws a pass into double coverage, but it's caught. Cavante Martin Manley falling down at about the 43-yard line. Heck of a throw there by Jake Rudock in between 2 defenders.
Yeah, it went right between Zare Anderson and Byerson Cochranell. Cavante Martin Manelli found the space in between them, and the ball went right behind Zare Anderson, and Zare Anderson thought the ball was almost going to hit the ground like there was no wide receiver behind him, and Cavante Manelli with the first down for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
So Rudock fitting it in a tight window. He's only thrown 4 interceptions this year, the least among Big Ten quarterbacks with a qualified number of attempts, as Rudock's going to take a shot on the bootleg. He's got Cavante Martin Manley out across the 20, taken out of bounds at the 19-yard line. So Iowa dials up the play action, and they're able to find some success. That's offensive coordinator Greg Davis with a fantastic call. And just like that, Iowa's in business again, Alex.
Greg Davis is really, really sucking in Nebraska's defense on the run. They've been getting 4 to 5 yards a pop on those runs. And that play action, back-to-back play action passes, had Martin Manelli both times, and he's getting great separation against the Nebraska secondary.
Pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes. 5:30 to go here in the second quarter. Ball on the right hash. Rudock with Canzeri. He turns, hands to him. Canzeri off the left tackle. Santos unable to contain. Brought down out of bounds. Trevor Roach on the tackle, but not until he picks up about 7 yards for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, the Nebraska defense is looking a little bit slow off the ball today. They have to do a better job making penetration. They have to force the direction of the running back, and they haven't been able to do that today. He's been able to run freely into his hole, and they're making contact in the second level of the defense, and that just can't happen.
Hawkeyes with the ball, 2nd and 4 on the 14. Left hash, Weissman, the back in the backfield. This typical 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver set, 1 on each side that they've been really running all day with Weissman in the backfield. Weissman off the left tackle. Met there by Zaire Anderson. Picked up. We'll give him 2. It's going to bring up another critical 3rd down here for the Hawkeye offense. They've been in the red zone twice already. 0 points to show for it.
This is the type of situation Iowa loves being in, just 30 yard. We're going to go hard-nosed and get that yard. And they've been really successful against Nebraska in these types of situations so far. Like we said earlier, Iowa's really into running the football, so expect Mark Weissman to get the ball and pick up this first down.
They come out. A tight set. Weissman in the backfield, the I formation. He's up across the middle. Looks like he's got enough for the first down. He does. The chains will move. Not a lot on the ground, but didn't really need a lot there. That's enough for a Hawkeye first down.
It was a good effort by the Husker defense. They held him about a half yard. You can't ask for much more than that. It was just a tough situation. Like we said, Iowa loves being in these situations where they know they only need to get a yard. They got a great offensive line coach, and they've been putting offensive linemen in the NFL for how many years now? I mean, Kirk Ferentz is just a monster at that, and they're not scared. They're not scared to run the ball in these types of situations.
So first and goal from the 9-yard line. 3:30 to go here in the second quarter. Rudock turns back to the official. He's going to burn a timeout. Wants to make sure they do this possession right. We'll take a quick timeout as well. Your score, Iowa 7, Nebraska 0. Right now, this Nebraska defense is the main reason that they are even still in this game. Let's see what they do here. Rudock, I formation. Weissman the back on the left hash now for the Hawkeyes. It's going to go to him. He's off the left tackle, cuts it up inside the 5. Brought down at the 3-yard line. Zaire Anderson among a few Huskers to bring him down. Second and goal, 3 yards to go.
NFL talent, Brandon Sheriff, he's doing a great job on these last couple drives. Iowa's really been working the ball to that left side, and they really don't have an answer for him right now. I mean, Gangwish is getting really ate up, and they're missing Gregory. You can see it.
Randy Gregory, the NFL talent, as Rudock under center again, turns hands to Weissman, but a flag, a false start. So Nebraska, Iowa returning the favor. We've seen Nebraska's offensive line have a few penalties here and there. Iowa's with a costly false start, as it looked like they were going to punch that one in. That's going to bring up a second and goal from the 8-yard line, as penalties are always killer.
First down.
Iowa with 82 yards on the ground here, Alex, in the first half. Nebraska with really no answer for this rushing attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of alarming. I was on pace to get about 120 yards in this half. And the thing that really Nebraska fans should be scared of at this point, Nebraska has 1 first down in this entire game, and Iowa now just got their 13th before this set.
Rudock in the gun. Canzeri motions into the backfield with him. Swing pass to Canzeri. Canzeri makes a move at the 5. Tripped up there. Good bit of tackling. Nate Gary gets the credit for that one. He's been all over the field.
Nate Gary, I mean, you could single-handedly put him as the MVP for the Nebraska Cornhuskers right now. He's gotten a tackle for loss, an interception, just spun up Canzeri right there on the swing pass, and he's having a great game.
So a crucial 3rd and 4 now. 3rd and goal for the Hawkeyes from the 4-yard line with the 7-0 lead. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Nebraska's defense looking to shut the door again. Rudock in the gun, Canzeri on his left. And we've got a pre-snap whistle. Nebraska, realizing the importance of this 3rd down, take a timeout. We're going to keep it here. Alex, Iowa's been able to just do so much on the ground. What adjustments need to be made for the Cornhuskers here, especially on this crucial 3rd and 4?
I think Nebraska needs to start with a little more run blitzing. We haven't really seen any motion towards the center or guards or anything to actually throw them off. Maybe we bring Pierson Cockrell in on a little safety blitz, or we kind of show more close pressure with Trevor Roach or Zaire Anderson. I mean, the penetration for the Nebraska defense just hasn't been there today, and Iowa's really done whatever they want. They've made it look really easy.
So the Huskers with a critical 3rd and goal here, backed up on their own 4-yard line. We saw the interception earlier in the game, the forced fumble on their last trip inside the red zone. The one positive for the Huskers, it seems like most of their fans are located in that end zone. You got to think that they might make some noise. Huskers fans are notorious being loud on the road. and there's not a better time to do it than right now. 3rd and goal from the 4, 1:54 remaining in the first half. Rudock in the I form. Wiseman, the back. It's a play action to the left. Rudock on the boot. He's going to throw to the end zone. Incomplete pass. Guess who on the coverage? Nathan Gary all over the intended receiver on that one. And a critical stop by the Husker defense.
Yeah, the Iowa offense, they're really targeting Cavante Martin-Manley today. He has been the focal point of this offense, and they've been really trying to force feed him the ball. Nate Gary with a great deflection, and it's time for an Iowa Hawkeye field goal.
So Marshall Cone in to take the field goal attempt. Puts it up, splits the uprights. It's good. Your score, Iowa 10, Nebraska 0, 1:44 remaining here in the first half. On a field goal, pushing their lead to 10-0 here over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. The Huskers set to receive the kickoff. Pearson L. and Kenny Bell back deep to receive for the Huskers. A big return here. They might go for points. And it's kicked over the head of Kenny Bell and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Alex, 1:44 remaining, 2 timeouts. If you're Nebraska, what do you do here? Are you content being down 10-0? Are you going to try and push the envelope? You've really struggled through the air, not just today, all season really, when you've been forced to try and move the ball through the air. What do you do here?
You really want to be aggressive in this situation, but in my opinion, we just should run the ball and take it into half. I mean, things have just been a wreck so far. The Nebraska offense hasn't been able to get things worked out. If we can get a first down and take this thing into the locker room down 10, I think Bo should be happy being down 10 because it could be a lot worse.
Armstrong in the gun, sends Amir out on a swing route to the right, finds Westerkamp over the middle, right at the first down marker at about the 35-yard line. They're going to move the chains there, so first down. So Tom Armstrong back into the game for the Huskers. Good to see him back, not too seriously injured. 1st and 10 from the 35, clock winding, 1:30 and counting. Armstrong with the clap snap. He drops back in the pocket. He's going to air it out to the left side, looking for Kenny Bell. Intercepted. Guess who? Desmond King, first team all season, Big Ten, makes a critical interception. And just like that, Iowa has a first down right at the 41-yard line. Heck of a play there by Desmond King.
Desmond King, NFL-type talent, and another interception, a poor decision by Tommy Armstrong. It was just underthrown enough where the wide receiver had to come back on the ball, and Desmond King just had enough room where he could slip in front and grab it away.
Now, if you're coach Kirk Ferentz and offensive coordinator Greg Davis, 1:22, you have one timeout, you're at your own 41. You going for it?
The offensive line's given enough time, so I say pass the ball and see what you get.
As Rudock comes out in the gun, it seems like they will do that. Receiver in motion, trips to the left side. Wiseman to his right of Rudock. Rudock's back in the pocket. He's going to go deep. Oh, in and out of the hands. The intended receiver was Damon Powell. Great coverage there by Josh Mitchell. Knocked that one away at the last minute. Iowa took a shot there, Alex.
It's tough to stretch the field against Josh Mitchell. He's got great reaction, and he's got great recovery speed. Damian Powell didn't have a chance on that one. If it had a little bit more air under it, it could have. But like we said, it's a windy day out here in Kinnick Stadium, and it's cold, and it's really tough to throw the football.
Rudock again in the gun. Iowa not content with this 10-0 lead. They smell blood in the water. They're going to go for the kill. Rudock in the gun, looking to his left side. Finds Damon Powell again. Out across. There's a forced fumble. Scooped up. Joshua Kalu rips it out of the hands of Powell. And just like that, Nebraska gets the ball back. What a play by Joshua Kalu.
And that's the freshman out there, man. We have a lot of talent that hasn't seen the field so far this season, and Josh Kalu just rips the ball away from Damian Powell, and that's a play Nebraska needed. They got a $107 on the 34-yard line, and let's see if they can put some points in the end zone. 36-yard line.
So a nightmare scenario for the Hawkeyes. They turn it over, and just like that, Nebraska takes possession at the 36-yard line. Armstrong now back in the gun. Amir Abdullah to his left. 3 wide receivers, including Kenny Bell to the near side. Ethan Carter on the right along with Kenny Bell. Westerkamp and Pearsonell. Here comes the Hawkeye blitz. Armstrong reads it. Drops back in the pocket. He steps up. Faces the pressure, and he's brought down for a sack. Quentin Alston, the linebacker, able to corral Tommy Armstrong. Loses about 2 yards on the play.
Coming into the week, we thought we'd hear a lot of Quentin Alston. We really haven't heard his name too much today, but he came in on the blitz, and Tommy Armstrong had nowhere to go with the ball, and he goes down.
So 4 wide receivers now for Armstrong in the gun. Amir Abdullah on his right side. The clap. Gets the ball. Looking for Kenny Bell on the curl route, just a little bit too high and outside for that. Kenny Bell unable to corral that one.
It really looks like that injury earlier in the game for Tommy Armstrong is kind of hampering a bit. Right after he threw that ball, you could see him kind of make a little motion towards his ribs, which, if he's not 100%, we might be seeing Riker Fife in the second half.
So the 4th Hawkeye turnover of the ball game, and no Nebraska points to show for it. Let's see what they do here. 3rd and 13 on the 39-yard line. 36 seconds remaining here in the second half. Amir swings out to the left side. Armstrong steps up in the pocket. He's looking to run. Throws over to Ethan Carter. Carter's across the 20, across the 10, 15, 10. Knocked out of bounds. Desmond King knocks Ethan Carter out, but not before he picks up about 20 yards on the play. Nebraska in business here.
Yeah, like we said, we need tight end production from this football team. It's kind of disappeared over the last couple years. We had some tight ends like Kyler Reed and Ben Cotton a couple years ago where we had a terrible twosome at tight end. But we haven't got too much productivity out of him this year, and it's great to see Ethan Carter making a catch like that in a game like this.
So 25 seconds remaining, 2 timeouts for Nebraska. Ball at the 5-yard line. Armstrong in the gun. Newby and Armstrong with him. Play action. He's got Amir in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Nebraska. Amir Abdullah, the 6-yard touchdown reception. And just like that, Nebraska strikes for their first touchdown of the game.
What a great play call. A little play action to Newby. Amir Abdullah slips into the back. No one covers him. I don't know what the Iowa defense was thinking. Amir Abdullah right in the back of the end zone all by himself. Touchdown, Nebraska.
So Nebraska with their first touchdown of the first half could not have come at a better time, trailing 10-0 with 20 seconds left in the first quarter as Drew Brown comes on for the extra point. Kick is up, and it's good. So a much-needed touchdown for the Cornhuskers, and this crowd, Alex, is dejected.
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop in this stadium right now. Nebraska, everything was going wrong for them to this point. Iowa looked like they were going to pad a nice little halftime lead. They get a fumble. Nebraska gets the ball back, gets a nice touchdown right before the end of the quarter, and we have a ball game, folks.
You can kind of see it on the Nebraska sideline right now. Guys just fired up, jumping up and down. Just a huge momentum-changing turnover. Joshua Kalui's made a few of them earlier this season. Forces the fumble. Damon Powell for the Hawkeyes unable to hang on to the ball. And just like that, we've got a 3-point game, Alex. We knew this one was going to be close, but wow, what an entertaining first half so far.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting the Nebraska defense to just kind of fold on that last drive. They held strong, and they're in great position now heading into halftime, only down 3 points. They have a total of 3 first downs in the first half. The offense really hasn't moved the ball, and for a 10-7 lead for Iowa, if you're Bo Pelini and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, you have to be ecstatic to where we're at this point.
So Nebraska will kick it off. Jonathan Parker back deep for the Hawkeyes, along with Matt Vandenberg. Kick goes to Parker on the bounce. He fields it at his 5-yard line. He's got some speed. Tries to cut it back up across the middle. Out across the 30-yard line. Brought down, again, Austin Williams on the tackle from the Nebraska Special Teams unit with 13 seconds to go in the first half. You got to think Iowa content with just running the rest of this 13 seconds out and getting to halftime with the 10-7 lead.
Yeah, they don't want much more sabotage. It's already happened in this half. I mean, they've turned the ball over 3 times. They turned it over with just a little bit over 40 seconds left in the first half. They let up a touchdown. And
as Rudock takes a knee, both teams retreating to their respective tunnels. Pretty stunned crowd here. They were rolling. The Hawkeyes were up 10-0, looking pretty here And the Huskers with the Amir Abdullah touchdown reception with 20 seconds remaining in the half brings us to our halftime score, Iowa 10, Nebraska 7. We're going to take a timeout for halftime. When we come back, we'll do a first half analysis, what to look for in the second half. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Husker Football here on your home for it on 90.3 KRNU.
Back here at halftime at Kinnick Stadium. Entertaining first half between Iowa and Nebraska thus far. I'm Max Baker alongside my partner, Alex Zastera, giving you a quick breakdown of some upcoming games for the rest of the weekend in college football. To start us off tomorrow morning, bright and early, the 12 o'clock kick Eastern Time, Michigan at Ohio State, known as the game, one of the best rivalries in all of college football. Alex, Ohio State still with a chance to get into the college football playoff. Are they going to be able to take care of business against their biggest rival, Michigan?
Yeah, I don't think Michigan's going to have a shot at stopping that Ohio State offense today. I think they're going to have a big day against Michigan. It's gonna be a real tough day for Michigan fans. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but the way JT Barrett's got this offense rolling, there's no stopping Ohio State in the Big Ten this year.
And Michigan has had a disappointing season thus far, but nothing would be sweeter to the Maize and Blue than knocking off their rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes, in Columbus. Moving down south now, the Florida Gators travel to Tallahassee to play the Florida State Seminoles. Jameis Winston has the Seminoles undefeated, looking to repeat as national champions. Alex, is this a trap game for Florida State? We know the rivalry for the state of Florida is huge. Will Muschamp's last game with the Gators, has he got some tricks up his sleeve?
I want to say this game is going to be closer than the experts think, and I mean, that's been the whole story for Florida State this whole season. So I think Florida's going to keep it close. They're going to play hard for Muschamp's last game, but in the end, I'm going to take Jameis Winston. I think it's Florida State's game to lose, and I think they're going to move to 12-0.
You've mentioned they've been dodging bullets really all season long, just pulling victory from the jaws of defeat. It'll be tough against that Florida Gator team. There's a lot of talent on that team, and they'd love nothing more than to beat the Seminoles and to derail their repeat dreams. Same time as that game, another 3:30 kick, this one on CBS. The Mississippi State Bulldogs travel and play the Ole Miss Rebels. Alex, earlier in the season, this game maybe looked a little bit bigger than it does now, but still serious playoff implications for both teams. Mississippi State, you got to think if they're able to get a win here against Ole Miss, they might be in as one of those 4 playoff teams with their only loss of the season coming against the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, like you said, Baker, this is going to be a big game in Oxford. Mississippi State's still fighting for that final playoff spot, and if they keep winning, it looks like they're going to make it in. And it's a big game for Ole Miss. I mean, they started off this season hot, and they've kind of tailed in at this last part of the year. They just got shut out at Arkansas, so they're going to be coming into this game with a grudge, and it's going to be quite the Egg Bowl down there in Mississippi.
Another game that Husker and Hawkeye fans alike might have some interest in, the Big Ten West championship, de facto championship game, the Minnesota Golden Gophers going to Madison to play the Wisconsin Badgers. Winner goes to Indianapolis to take on Ohio State. Alex, the Gophers before this season were kind of looked at as a team that would probably finish 3rd or 4th in the western side of the Big Ten. Right now, they've got a chance to win that division. Do you like their chances going to Madison and upsetting the Badgers?
Yeah, I don't think Minnesota is going to have a very good shot to win on Saturday. I mean, Wisconsin's playing at home, and Minnesota just came off an emotional win in Lincoln. So I'm going to have to take Melvin Gordon and the Wisconsin Badgers in this one. I think they're just going to have too much up front, and they've been in this position before. I know it's a new coaching staff, but expect Wisconsin to be meeting Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, Minnesota having an absolutely magic season thus far, and there would not be a bigger win in recent memory for the Minnesota Golden Gophers than going into Madison, beating their arch nemesis, the Wisconsin Badgers, and clinching their berth in the Big Ten title game against the Ohio State Buckeyes. We all remember last year's Iron Bowl between Auburn and Alabama, the kick six finish, one of the greatest finishes in college football history. This year, the stakes are once again sky high. Alabama coming into the game as the number 1 ranked team in the country. Auburn looking to ruin Alabama's playoff chances. Alex, who do you like in this one, and probably the day's most intriguing matchup?
I'm going to have to take Alabama in this one. I think they're playing the best football in the country to this point. They started off a little shaky in the beginning of the year, and a lot of people were wondering, will we see this Alabama team make the playoff? I mean, they haven't been underdogs in who knows how long. It's been a couple years, but Alabama's going to be favored in this one. I've got to take Nick Saban and the Tide.
And after a very long day of football, I agree with you on your Alabama pick, by the way. You can get your nightcap with the Civil War. The Oregon Ducks go to Corvallis to play the Oregon State Beavers. Oregon State's known for making those crazy upsets at home. Can they upset the Ducks on Saturday?
The way that Oregon's been playing the last couple weeks, ever since that Arizona loss, I just don't see it happening. The scoring explosion has just been going off for Oregon. But like you said, Oregon State plays really good at home, and Corvallis is a very tough place to play. So I think it's going to be closer than the experts think. It's a rivalry game. So I'm going to take Oregon with about a 17-point win.
Oregon escaping and getting to the Pac-12 championship game. They'll play UCLA. Marcus Mariota, the Heisman favorite as of right now. He'll have to have another big game to kind of solidify himself as the top dog, obviously with next weekend still to come as well for him. We're going to come back. We're going to do a recap of the first half here. Then we'll be bringing you the Nebraska-Iowa second half. You're listening to Husker Football right here on 90.3 KRNU.
Welcome back here to the 90.3 KRNU halftime show here. Your score at half, the Iowa Hawkeyes 10, Nebraska Cornhuskers 7. Here live at Kinnick Stadium, I'm Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. Alex, what were your thoughts on the first half overall?
I thought the first half was it was good defense and sloppy football for me. There's been a lot of turnovers on both sides. We have the Tommy Armstrong pick six. We have the other interception the other interception on Tommy Armstrong, where the ball just got picked off by Desmond King. He just had enough gap to get to the ball. And on the other side, Iowa had a nice first drive. They're moving the ball down the field, and Jake Rudock gets picked off by Nathan Gary. They've had a couple fumbles here and there on special teams, and then one on Desmond Powell. Or Damian Powell for that, excuse me. So the Nebraska, this is the type of game I kind of expected coming to this one. Either offense has been doing that great over the last couple weeks, and we're just going to have to see how the defenses can hold in and get ready for the second half.
So the Hawkeyes with 86 total yards on the ground thus far. Huskers with only 43. Key stat to look out for in this one. The Nebraska Cornhuskers 0-3 on the season when held to under 175 yards on the ground. No, excuse me. They are 0-3 when allowing more than 175 yards on the ground. So if this Iowa rushing attack continues on the pace that they're on and the pace that we saw in the first quarter and really at the start of that second quarter, it could mean trouble for this Nebraska defense. What do you want to see out of Tommy Armstrong here in the second half? Do you think they just got to keep pounding the ball on the ground, or would you like to see him open up the offense a little bit?
I'd really like to see Nebraska be able to win this game on Tommy Armstrong's arm. I don't think they're going to be able to do that, but Tommy Armstrong's definitely going to need a more solid half than he had in the first half. He was 3 of 7 with 49 yards and 2 interceptions. He had 1 touchdown, and he was sacked twice. But the alarming number to me is Nebraska only has 3 first downs in this ball game. Iowa has 13. With Iowa being able to sustain drives during this game, that gives their defense a big break, and they've doubled the time of possession of Nebraska. They're currently at 20 minutes and 1 second. Nebraska's had the ball for 9:59, and to me, that's how you win ball games. You just got to take care of the football, win the time of possession battle, and don't turn it over. You just got to play perfect.
Score recap: John Loudermilk's 17-yard interception return with 9 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the second quarter. 22-yard field goal from Marshall Cohn, and then an Amir Abdullah 5-yard touchdown reception from Tommy Armstrong with 20 seconds to go in the first half. We're about underway here in the second half. Marshall Cohn set to kick it off for the Hawkeyes. To Mornay Pearsonell and Kenny Bell back deep for the Huskers. Huskers will start with the football. Let's see if they're able to get anything going on this drive. Moving from right to left. Sun is out. Absolutely picture-perfect weather for football. And here we go. Kicked deep into the end zone. Kenny Bell lets it bounce. Rolls out the back of the end zone. So the Cornhuskers will take over at their 25-yard line. Not a lot of success for the offense really all game. The last drive, they went about 46 yards to pay dirt, and that was much needed at that time.
Yeah, it was kind of a blessing for Nebraska. It looked like Iowa was probably just going to get the ball and run the clock out until half, but that didn't end up happening. Nebraska's defense forced a turnover. The great play by Josh Kalu, and it's Husker football.
So Armstrong in a little pistol gun formation. Ethan Carter moves from left to right of the formation. He turns. The zone read with Amir Abdullah hammered in the backfield. That's number 34, Nate Meyer, with a big-time hit. And we've got a Husker down. It appears it's an offensive lineman.
Looks like Ryan Reeves down on the field. He's holding his left knee, it looks like. And the Husker training staff is out to attend him. So
not exactly the start you wanted if you're a Nebraska fan. The first down run gobbled up in the backfield by Nate Meyer. And now your backup center appears to be down. And
yeah, it looks like they're working on the lower part of his leg. We'll see if he can get back up. And
training staff tending to him. We'll take a quick break. Just underway here in the second half. 14:51 to go. Your score, Iowa 10, Nebraska 7, right here on 90.3 KRNU. Back here at the start of the second half, Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera, just a play in, and already an injured Nebraska Cornhusker. Ryan Reeves goes down, getting helped off the field now. You hate to see that. Kid's worked hard, finally got his opportunity with the injury happening last week, and now he goes down. So we're going to hope for him that everything's okay. Getting helped off the field by the trainers now. So meanwhile, 2nd and 11 for Nebraska. The first down carry stopped in the backfield. Nate Meyer with a great tackle for the Hawkeye defense, picking up right where they left off in that first half.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who Nebraska goes to at center. Mark Pelini, like we said, during the Minnesota game, he was injured, held out of today's game because of a sore ankle, unable to play today. And now Ryan Reeves, our backup center, goes down. I'm really interested to see who Nebraska throws in there. And it looks like it's going to be Paul Thurston from Colorado, number 55.
So Paul Thurston in line for the center duties. Armstrong in the gun, Abdullah on his right side. Snap's good. Taken in the backfield, gobbled up. Carl Davis toying with Tommy Armstrong. Got him with one hand, kind of spun him around, able to finally corral him, bring him down after a loss of about, we'll say 4. Brings up a 3rd and 15 from the Nebraska 20. So Nebraska moving backwards on their first possession thus far.
Davis did a good job working inside of Thurston and Mowdy, and he just was there waiting for Tommy Armstrong after the read.
Crowd getting loud here at Kinnick Stadium. 3rd and 15 from the Nebraska 20. Armstrong in the gun. Nubian Abdullah next to him. Snaps a little high. Armstrong corrals it. Steps up in the pocket. Absolutely got hammered by Trinka Passat, and Armstrong's a little slow to get up. Incomplete pass, and not the start you wanted if you're a Nebraska Cornhusker fan.
Armstrong's already got sore ribs, and he just took a really big hit by Luis Trinka Passat. You can't think that's good. You see Tommy Armstrong trotting to the sideline. He didn't have time to throw the football. They were there almost initially after the snap. Jordan Westerkamp was open, but if you don't have the time to hit the man open, it's not going to be a completion.
Great job by Armstrong to corral that high snap. Foltz on the punt. Matt Vandenberg back deep for the Hawkeyes. Foltz gets a short punt off. Ran up, fielded by Vandenberg. Makes a move. He's out across the 45, brought down at the 46-yard line, and that's where the Hawkeyes will take over for their first possession of the second half. Alex, Iowa's had a lot of success moving the football thus far, just unable to punch it into when they've gotten into the red zone. What do they need to keep doing to be effective against this Nebraska defense?
I think Iowa's got to stick to their first half game plan. They were playing power football, running the ball off tackles, and it seemed to really work for them. Once they could set the edge against the Nebraska defensive ends, they're running all over the field. They've been averaging over 4 yards per carry so far in this game, and I don't see the Iowa offense really letting up.
Handed to Wiseman. Gained maybe a yard, brought down after that. Not a lot going there for the Hawkeye offense. Credit Malik Collins for the tackle for the Huskers.
Yeah, Malik Collins and Nate Gary, they've both been having big days so far today, and we've been hearing their names a lot.
So Rudock again in the I formation. Wiseman, the back, two wide receivers each side. Rudock drops back the pass, 5-step drop, looking to his left side, throws it out into the flats. It's caught, rumbles down inside the 43-yard line. Great bit of job there by the fullback, John Kenny. Great catch out in the flats, able to pick up a Hawkeye first down. So the Hawkeyes with a 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. 13 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Iowa with the 10-7 lead. Rudock under center. Canzeri behind him. Play action that way. Had a guy open in the end zone, decides to tuck it down and try and pick up some yards on the ground. Picked up maybe a yard and takes a shot there from Zaire Anderson. Tried to get down, unable to do it. Looked like he was looking for Cavante Martin Manley deep on that one, Alex.
Yeah, Cavante Martin Manley. He was running down the field by himself. It just didn't look like Rudock was going to have enough time to collect himself and make the throw. So he took off and took what he could get. Got a yard back out of it, so it's 2nd and 9 for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
So 2nd and 9 from the 41. Iowa with the play action on that one. Tried to take a shot, unable to do so. Rudock under center. Man in motion from left to right. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Hand off to Canzeri off the right side. Hurdles his own man. Picks up about 2 yards. Brought down at the 38-yard line. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 5. We'll call it the 37. 3rd and 5 for the Hawkeyes.
David Santos in the stop. He hasn't had that great of a season so far, but it's good to see him coming back in these last couple games after an ankle injury he suffered and he's been battling with since the Miami game earlier this season.
So 3rd and 5 for the Hawkeyes, as we've seen all day. Rudock in the shotgun on 3rd down. Wiseman on his right, trips to the left side. Tavon Smith, the lone receiver on the right. Corner blitz that way. Throws out to Tavon Smith. Makes a man miss. He's out across the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Iowa. Tavon Smith, the 37-yard touchdown reception off the corner blitz. And a poor bit of tackling by the Huskers. And just like that, the Hawkeyes are on the board first in the second half.
Yeah, it was just a quick comeback route to Tavon Smith. Daniel Davies was in position to make the tackle, but Smith slipped out of it, and he had a clear lane into the end zone for an Iowa Hawkeye touchdown.
So a great read by Rudock there. They brought the blitz from the boundary side of the field. Tavon Smith with the hitch route breaks the tackle, outraces the defense to the end zone, and pending the extra point as the kick is up, it's good. The Hawkeyes with a 17-7 lead here early in the third quarter. It's going to be up to the Husker offense. We'll bring that to you right here on 90.3 KRNU when we come back. Back here at Kinnick Stadium, Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. Iowa gets on the board first here in the second half. A 37-yard pitch and catch from Rudock to Tavon Smith. Smith breaks a Cockrell tackle attempt, races to the end zone, and here we are at 17-7 with 11:21 to go in the third, Alex. To go here in the third quarter. Pearson L., Kenny Bell back deep for the Huskers as the kick is off. It's going to be fielded by Pearson L. in the end zone. Kenny Bell holds him back. Pearson L. really wanted to go on that one like a dog at a chain, but Kenny Bell wisely holds him back. The Huskers will take over at the 25. That's one guy, Alex, I think the Huskers have to get more involved on the offensive side of things, Pearson L.
Yeah, I would love to see Pearson L get some more touches on the offensive side. If it's not a jet sweep, maybe hit him on a reverse, but man, you really want to see Pearson L take that one out of the end zone. This Husker offense has been so stagnant. That's the best opportunity we have to gain some field position right now.
So 1st and 10 for the Huskers from their own 25-yard line, trailing by 10. Armstrong in the gun. Abdullah motions out, empty set now. Abdullah in the slot on the right. Armstrong drops back, he's getting pressured. Finds Westerkamp across the middle. Westerkamp picks up 3 yards. Then he's brought down there. Josie Jewell makes the tackle for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Josie Jewell is in great position right there. They ran a little cover 2 scheme, and right when Jordan Westerkamp caught it, he ran right into Josie Jewell. So it's just right spot, right time. And this Nebraska 5-wide set really hasn't been working for him.
So the Huskers go to the pistol now. Now Abdullah moves up to Armstrong, so it's a gun formation. The play action to Abdullah. Thrown, an intended receiver somehow dropped.
Yeah, that ball was intended for Sam Cotton, and he just dropped it. I mean, it was just a simple curl route, about 5 yards, and he just couldn't bring it in. It was good. Give credit to the Iowa defense right there. They made contact right away, but that's a ball that's got to be brought in.
Got to make that catch, especially in this type of situation. Brings up, would have been a manageable 3rd down, maybe 3rd and about 2. Instead, 3rd and 7 with 10:45. Armstrong in the gun. 5 wide receivers. Pearson L on the left side. Trips. Armstrong's looking right. He's got Amir Abdullah. Amir Abdullah able to dive for the 1st down. John Loudermilk on the tackle, but not before a critical Nebraska 1st down at a much-needed time, Alex.
We heard John Loudermilk's name a lot in the beginning of this game. He kind of disappeared, made the tackle there, but not before Amir Abdullah can get the 1st down.
It appears to me that Armstrong is looking for Abdullah at all costs. You got to get this guy the ball. He's your playmaker, and you saw it there. Picks up a much-needed 1st down, and the Huskers move the chains. 1st and 10 from their own 36, 10-20 and counting. Option game to the left. Armstrong pitches to Abdullah late. Abdullah with the one-handed catch. Unbelievable effort by him. But the Iowa defense does a great job of stringing that one out. Desmond King in on the tackle on Abdullah.
Yeah, I like the play call. Nebraska hasn't really been running that too much in the last couple of weeks, but Iowa's defense, they were waiting for it. They were kind of expecting it. Number 95, Drew Ott, kind of sprung the play outside, and Desmond King was able to shoot in for the 1-yard gain.
So Nebraska in the empty set once again. Armstrong back all by himself. 3 wide receivers to the right. Ball on the left hash. 2nd and 9 from the 37. Armstrong back in the pocket. Looking for Pearson L. Finds him, but he's taken down there by Quentin Alston. It looked like Pearson L. might be able to break that tackle. Instead, Alston makes a heck of an effort to bring him down.
We want Pearson L. to get the ball more, and he's getting it, and hopefully they can get some more targets in the second half, because he's a guy that could maybe break one and take it to the house. He's that kind of elusive player.
So 3rd and 4 for the Huskers. Again, empty set, 2 wide to the boundary on the right, 3 wide to the left. Ball on the 42-yard line. Hawkeyes showing blitz. Backing out of it. Armstrong making checks. Showing that blitz again. They drop out. A free rusher. Pass looking to go to Kenny Bell over the middle. Tipped by Quentin Alston. So the Hawkeyes show blitz. Only rush 4, but Nate Meyer still gets a clear shot on Tommy Armstrong. Forces an errant throw high.
Man, if Quentin Alston doesn't get in Jordan Lomax's way, he might have a pick, maybe even a chance to take that one to the house. Quentin Alston kind of cut him off on the way to the ball, but it looked like Lomax had a straight shot at the ball and almost got that one picked off.
The punt is blocked by the own lineman. Ball bounces at the 10-yard line, scooped up by the Hawkeyes. They're going to score a touchdown. Unbelievable. Drew Ott races into the end zone. Sam Foltz drops the punt, tries to get it off quick, hits the back of his own O-lineman, and things are going downhill for the Huskers.
The junior from Trumbull, Nebraska, number 95, Drew Ott, has to love that touchdown against the Nebraska Cornhuskers that decided not to offer him late in the recruiting process, and he is happy about this one. Pumping up the Iowa student section, this Iowa sideline is jacked up.
And for the Huskers, things just snowballing now, Alex. Armstrong getting hit on that last throw. Foltz drops the punt, and then punts it into his own O-lineman. Drew Ott scoops it up and races into the end zone. And the Hawkeyes penning the PAT as the kick is up. It's good. Your score, Iowa 24, Nebraska 7. Nebraska in trouble here. We'll bring you more right after this quick break. You're listening to Husker Football on 90.3 KRNU. Back here at Kinnick Stadium, Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. If you're just joining us, the Hawkeyes with 2 quick touchdowns here in the second half, pushing that 10-7 lead to 24-7. A Tavon Smith
effect like the last couple weeks.
So Kenny Bell tries to field the kick short, fumbles it, able to scoop it up, races out across the 25, gets to the 27-yard line. And you felt the Husker fans holding their breath on that one.
Yeah, that's another one, like we're talking about this snowball effect right now. That's just another one. You kind of expect him to lose right there. And he scooped it up, took it back to the 26-yard line. But this Husker offense, they're looking a little bit shaky. They're kind of all looking at each other right now when they usually look at Amir Abdullah to do things, but we need to pass the ball if we have any chance of winning this game. There's just not enough time.
8:39 to go here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 28. Armstrong in the gun. Abdullah next to him. Pearson L comes in motion. He'll take the handoff off the right side. Gets a nice block from Amir Abdullah. Picks up about 6 yards. Taken down at the 34-yard line. So, guy we mentioned at the halftime break, we'd like to see get the ball more. Pearson L gets it there, picks up 6 yards on his carry.
Yeah, and if you notice, Desmond King's been kind of following him around a little bit, but now since they have trips left, they got him matched up against the linebacker right now, Quentin Alston. So let's see if they can take advantage of it.
Nebraska in the gun. Here comes Pearson L in motion yet again. They're going to hand it to him again off to the right side. Iowa defense ready for it on this one. Greg Mabin, the sophomore corner, along with Quentin Alston in on the tackle for the Hawkeyes. But the Huskers haven't done it a lot today. Pick up a first down on that one.
Yeah, I really like what this offense is doing. You got to get your best, most elusive players to football. Amir Abdullah hasn't quite done it today, and we just got to do it.
Armstrong in the pistol. Hand off to Abdullah on the left side. He's got a hole. He's out across the 50. He breaks the tackle, makes a move. He's out across the 30 to the 20, 15, 10, still on his feet. Spins down inside the 10-yard line to the 8. Amir Abdullah putting the team on his back on that run, Alex. Picks up a huge chunk of yards before Jordan Lomax brings him down.
Yeah, that's a vintage run by Amir Abdullah. I mean, he's so shifty, makes the guy miss, and he's 15 yards down the field already. He gets down to the 7-yard line, but around the 20, he had Jordan Lomax all flipped around.
Had him twisting and turning, so Nebraska in the red zone. Amani Cross checks into the game for the Huskers. Armstrong changing things at the line of scrimmage. Amani Cross behind her to the left. Crowd getting loud here in Iowa City. Armstrong throws to the end zone to Westerkamp. Into double coverage. Not sure what he saw on that one. Maybe lucky that one wasn't picked off. Desmond King in on the coverage. The all Big Ten preseason corner knocks that one down.
Yeah, Iowa had 2 defenders in there, Jordan Lomax and Desmond King on the coverage. With Jordan Westerkamp, he had a shot at catching it, but the coverage was just too tight, and it's on to the second down.
So 2nd and goal from the 8 after the long Amir Abdullah run. Cross still in the game in the backfield. Amir getting a breather. Armstrong off the right side. Iowa defense does a great job of holding it out, and there's a flag on the play as Armstrong's pushed out of bounds at about the 3. And if you're a Nebraska fan, here we go again. Another what could be costly penalty on the offensive line, ruining what was a golden scoring opportunity.
Yeah, Luis Trinca-Passat blew that play up, and we have a holding on Mike Mowdy on the outside, and Luis Trinca-Passat, he's begging for the call to the ref, and once the play finally got to the very far outside, the far right, the flag was thrown.
So Nebraska having enough trouble as it is moving the football, now moving themselves backward with the holding penalty. 2nd and goal, ball on the 18-yard line. Amir Abdullah checked back in. Armstrong in the gun, Abdullah on his left and Newby on his right. 2 wide receivers to the left, including Westerkamp in the slot. Armstrong caves it, shovels it out to Newby. Ball's on the ground. That's an incomplete pass. Crowd thinks it's a fumble, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and goal from the 18 now, Alex.
that Iowa defense came with a crossing scheme on the D-line, and Carl Davis came up free, and Tommy Armstrong was on the run right after the snap of the football. He tried a quick little shovel pass to Newby, and the Iowa defense was just there in the nick of time and forcing an incompletion.
So the Iowa defense trying to do what the Nebraska defense had done in the first half, hold inside the red zone. 3rd and goal from the 18, 6:45 to go in the third quarter. Armstrong in the gun, 3 wide receivers, including Kenny Bell in the slot on the left side. Abdullah to his left, Sethan Carter, the tight end, on the right. Armstrong drops back in the pocket, gets pressured immediately, running for his life to the left side, out across the 10, steps out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Had to have been a missed protection there, Alex. Bo Bauer came in untouched on Armstrong there.
Yeah, Trinka Passat and Bo Bauer, they are both in right away, and this Nebraska offensive line has not given Tommy Armstrong the proper time he needs to make good reads down the field.
So Drew Brown in to attempt the 27-yard field goal, 0 for 1 on the day. That was a 49-yarder early in the first quarter. 6:20 and counting remaining in the third quarter. Nebraska 24-7 deficit. Hold is down. Kick is blocked. Kick is blocked. And the Hawkeyes will leave it. That's a dead ball. So special teams miscues. And the crowd here, Alex, absolutely loves what they're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska, everything Nebraska's done today has just gone wrong. And it's another block punt. It's kind of opposite of the Minnesota game last week. And this stadium is pumping, and they feel like they can win this football game.
So the blocked field goal just when the Huskers were in business after the long Amir Abdullah run, trying to get a look on the replay of who blocked it. I believe Carl Davis, number 71 for the Hawkeyes, was in on that one. We mentioned these Hawkeyes defensive tackles as being dynamic game changers, and so far they've been just that.
Yeah, they're big, they're powerful, and they're quick guys. I mean, they've been in this Husker backfield all day just messing with the Nebraska run, just throwing everything off for the Nebraska offense. And Luis Trinka-Passat, he has got to be my player of the game so far for Iowa.
So the Hawkeyes shut the door on the Huskers, block the field goal attempt. We're going to take a quick break. Your score, Iowa 24, Nebraska 7. 6:03 remaining in the third quarter. You're listening to Husker Football right here on 90.3 KRNU. 7, your score here at Kinnick Stadium. Guys now 1st and 10 from their 12. Rudock under center off the left hash. Handed to Kanzeri in the backfield. Brought down, maybe picked up a yard there. Good bit of tackling by the Nebraska defense. Daniel Davies along with Trevor Roach in on that tackle.
Yeah, it was really good pursuit by the Husker defense. That's what you like to see on a power run like that. You just want to really have a couple defenders beat them to the outside, and they did that on that play.
So a 2nd and 10 now, clock at 5:30 and counting. Hawkeyes in the I formation. Rudock under center. Handoff to the left side. Wiseman, the carrier. Maybe gain 2. So the Nebraska defense doing a good job thus far. Brings up a pretty big 3rd and 7 from the 15-yard line now, Alex.
And this is where Nebraska's defense likes to be. We like to force those 3rd and longs, kind of man up, the zone matchup in the backfield, and we really like to force opponents into these long third downs because Nebraska is really successful in stopping them.
So 3rd down for Iowa. Guess what? Rudock in the gun as he's been all game. Trips to the right side. Wiseman in the backfield next to him on the left of the gun. Rudock drops back the pass over the middle. He's got a guy wide open. Cavante Martin-Manley out across the first down marker, gets out of bounds. So Martin Manley running wide open, which is rather surprising as he's been Rudock's favorite target all afternoon long, Alex.
And another breakdown by the Nebraska defense. I mean, you got to expect this guy to get the football. He's got the most receptions for Iowa this year, and you got to know that this guy is probably going to get the football in this situation, and he's been a go-to guy for Jake Rudock all game.
Closing in on the all-time receptions record as the handoff goes to Kanzeri off to the right tackle. Good job by the Nebraska defense of meeting him after a gain of maybe a yard there.
Daniel Davies, he's a quick guy, shot in there, and there was no room for Kanzeri to get anywhere. I really like what I've seen from Nebraska so far in this drive. being able to stop Iowa's power run game.
They had really struggled for the most part throughout this game in stopping the run. We've seen in the first 3 rushing plays here, Iowa unable to move the football on the ground as they come out in the I formation. Rudock under center. Canzeri the back in the backfield. He's going to throw. Rudock looking deep over the middle into triple coverage. Great job by the Huskers. Cockrell, Gary, and Roach all there on the coverage for Nebraska.
Yeah, it was great defense by the Big Red. There was nowhere for Jake Rudock to go with the football. He just kind of put the ball in a place where no one was really going to be able to get it. It was just a little bit outside the reach of Ray Hamilton, but we'll see if they target him here again soon.
So a 3rd and 9 from the 25. If you're a Nebraska fan, you got to get a stop here. Need to get the ball back with your offense, trailing by 17 and really struggling all night. Rudock in the gun again on 3rd down. He's really been that way all afternoon. Trips to the left side. Rudock with time to throw, steps up in the pocket, overthrows his intended receiver. Great job by the Nebraska defense. The intended receiver, Jake Doozy, but way overthrown, and that forces Iowa's first punt of the game.
Yeah, it was wonderful coverage by Byerson Cockrell. He's got a little bit of a size disadvantage against Doozy, but he was there in the coverage, and Jake Rudock had nowhere to go with the ball, and he just threw it out of bounds.
So Dylan Kidd to punt. Mr. Lightning in a bottle. DeMornay Pearsonell back deep to receive. It's a short punt. It's going to bounce at the Nebraska 40. Takes a hop. It's going to roll down by the Hawkeyes at the Nebraska 36-yard line. So a short punt. Pearsonell unable to get his hands on that one, Alex, and that's kind of the shot of lightning that Nebraska needs at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get the ball in Pearsonell's hands, and he's been such a spark of lightning the last couple months when he's been touching the ball on special teams, and I was really taking him out of that game. I mean, they've only had a punt. That is their second punt of the game, or first punt of the game, and Pearsonell really hasn't had a shot with the ball.
Armstrong in the pistol. Abdullah moves up next to him in the gun. 2 wide receivers on each side. Play action. Looking for Pearsonell across the middle. Great job there by Jordan Lamox on the coverage. Incomplete pass. So Armstrong's really struggled moving the football through the air so far today.
Yeah, like we said, this game was probably going to be on his shoulders. He had a little bit better game last week against Minnesota. He's really came out and struggled today. You got to think that rib injury he kind of suffered in that first half, along with this cold weather and wind. It's just not a great success or recipe for success with the pass.
5 wide for Armstrong. 2nd and 10 from the 36. He gives it to Amir Abdullah on the jet sweep. Amir breaks another tackle. He's out across the 50. Inside the Hawkeye 40, so Amir Abdullah, Mr. Do-It-All, takes the jet sweep and picks up a gain of about 30 yards. Heck of a run there by Amir Abdullah.
Amir Abdullah is doing everything he can right now. He had a huge run last series, and now he's running as hard as he can now. And that when he gets into that open field against the Iowa defense, he's hard
Armstrong,
to tackle.
pistol, hands it to Cross off the left side. The Bruiser brought down. Desmond King doing a great job of tackling him by the legs. That's a big boy, Amani Cross says. You got to hit him low.
Yeah, and especially for the size differential there, you got to hit him low, and if you hit him low, most likely he's going to go down with some help.
So 2nd and 4 from the 31-yard line now for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Need points on this drive if they want to keep this game alive. Pistol moves the shotgun again. Armstrong, he's got Pearsonell coming in motion. He's going to hand it to him, but he's tackled in the backfield. Mike Hardy, the 6'5", 275-pound senior, doing a great job of tackling Pearsonell in the backfield.
Yeah, the senior Mike Hardy makes a great play, seals the edge, gets to the outside before Pearsonell. It's really tough on a jet sweep to run the ball to the short side of the field, and there was just no room for him.
Armstrong in the gun, 3 wide receivers on the right side. He's going to roll that way. He's got time to throw. He's got a guy in the end zone wide open. He throws it to him. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Tariq Allen with the touchdown. A bomb from Tommy Armstrong. He slid behind the defense.
Tariq Allen left uncovered, standing alone in the back of the end zone. Armstrong, with time, found him there. a lapse in the Iowa defense, and just like that, it's an 11-point ball game with 1:44 to go here in the third quarter. As pending the PAT, and we've seen the kicking woes that Nebraska's had thus far. Drew Brown on to kick the point after. The kick is up, and it's good. So Nebraska, there's still some life in this team, folks. Down 10 with still a quarter to go. 1:44 remaining in the third quarter. And as the Iowa fans boo the Nebraska flag runners, Nebraska fans finally with something to cheer for here in the second half.
What a big play, and we needed it so much. We turned the ball over in the red zone, can't capitalize, but now we're only down 10 points with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. That's plenty of time to come back in a football game. And Nebraska's defense, they had a nice little series last time out, so we'll see if they can duplicate that type of success they had last drive.
And the Nebraska defense, as you mentioned, doing a great job their last 2 times out on the field. And finally, the offense put some points up on the board. Big credit to Amir Abdullah doing it all once again. He's really done it all season. He has been the guy for the Huskers. Drew Brown set to kick it off. Jonathan Parker back deep to receive for the Hawkeyes. He's going to field it with his feet on the goal line. The right side of the field. Breaks a tackle out across the 20. Brought down at the 22-yard line. So the Hawkeyes, with 1:40 to go here in the third quarter, clinging to a 10-point lead. It's up to the Husker defense now, Alex.
Yeah, we can see if that Nebraska defense can force a 3-and-out here or just stop that Iowa offense. The running game the last couple drives really hasn't been there, and it's been on Jake Rudolph's arm to really move them down the field. And this is a big drive for Iowa because they don't want to let Nebraska back in this game.
So the Hawkeyes come out in a 2 tight end set in the I formation. Wiseman dotting the I. Turns, hands to him. No room there. Zaire Anderson meets him in the backfield, maybe at the line of scrimmage. So, again, the Husker defense doing a great job of tightening up in the running lanes.
That defense looks like it's gaining a little bit of confidence out there. It looks like they're calming down, fitting the gaps where they need to fit them, and they're really slowing down this Iowa rushing offense.
So a tackle for loss there by Zaire Anderson brings up a 2nd and 11 with 1:10 and counting. Hawkeyes, 10-point lead. Rudock under center. 2 wide receivers out to the right side. Play action. He's going to take a shot deep. He's got a man. Overthrows him. The intended receiver, Damon Powell, the speedster, 5'11 senior, had him open, just missed him by a step.
Wow, he had Josh Mitchell all turned around on that route. Josh Mitchell was probably trailing him by a good 10 yards. Jake Rudock puts a little more air under that ball. Damian Powell is walking into the end zone with ease.
And the Hawkeyes miss a golden opportunity to maybe bury the Huskers on that one. So a pretty big 3rd and 11 here with 55 seconds to go in the third quarter. Rudock in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the right side. He's looking that way. He's got time in the pocket. He's got an intended receiver, and right now Rudock just not doing a very good job of hitting his receivers.
Yeah, that was great defense. They keep trying to target Kevonte Manley, and that was great defense. The Husker defense was stuck to him like glue, and there was nowhere to go with the football. I mean, Bo Pelini's got to be really happy with that Nebraska defense right now.
So Dylan Kidd on to punt again for the Hawkeyes. Seen him work more in this third quarter than he worked all game. Pearsonell back deep for the Huskers. Another really short punt. Pearsonell able to field it on the run. He's out across the 50, steps out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. So Nebraska, once again, Alex, in business here. They're going to have a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. And when your offense is struggling, the defense and special teams need to pick them up, and they've done that here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and like we said, Nebraska needed to force a 3-and-out or get a stop quick because that allows Nebraska to flip the field position. And now Nebraska's got something cooking. Down 10 with 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. They definitely have a shot at coming back in this game.
Armstrong in the pistol, moves to a shotgun. Abdullah on his right, 2 wide receivers to each side. Play action. Armstrong going to take a shot. He's got Kenny Bell. Overthrows Kenny Bell by about a yard. He had him wide open, and Armstrong has got to be sick to his stomach because he saw 6, and Kenny Bell's eyes lit up when he saw the single coverage, unable to complete the pass.
Almost exactly like the play we just saw about 5 minutes ago with Cavante Martin Manley. Just Kenny Bell slipped behind Desmond King, had a good probably 10-yard gap between them. Just can't connect. Tommy Armstrong just couldn't connect on the throw.
5 wide receivers now in the gun for Armstrong. 2nd and 10 from the 48. 34 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Armstrong feels the pressure, rolls out to his right side. Pass intended for Westerkamp. Westerkamp made a diving attempt at about the 33, unable to corral the ball. It looked like he had a wide open Pearsonell across the middle, but just didn't see him.
Yeah, he just didn't see him, and it looked like Jordan Westerkamp almost tripped up a little bit coming back to the ball. I mean, it didn't look like he actually wanted to be on the ground in that situation, but yes, you got to connect on those plays.
So a 3rd and 10 now for the Iowa defense. Time for them to rise to the occasion here. 26 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Nebraska trailing 14-24. Armstrong in the gun. Abdullah on his right. 2 wide receivers on each side. Jordan Westerkamp in the slot on the right. Iowa brings the blitz. They have a free blitzer. Armstrong pump fakes, makes a move, fires it to a receiver on the left sideline. Pass incomplete. So Armstrong doing a great job of escaping the pressure, but we've got a flag on the field. We'll check it out here as the refs convene at midfield. A personal foul against Nebraska. We'll let you know when we know. Hands to the face on the
Paul
Nebraska
Thurston.
team.
Yeah, hands to the face on Paul Thurston. It's been the same story all day for the Nebraska offensive line. That's the first personal foul, but we've had a couple holdings, a couple false starts there, and they're really hampering this Nebraska offense.
So Sam Foltz back onto the field. His last trip on the field resulted in 6 for Iowa when he dropped the snap and punted it into his own lineman. We'll see what he can do here. Matt Vandenberg back at his own 9-yard line, set to return the punt. Foltz handles it cleanly, gets the punt off. Vandenberg's going to let that one go to the side, bounces into the end zone, so a touchback for the Hawkeyes with 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter. So maybe a golden opportunity gone by the wayside there for Nebraska, Alex.
Yeah, Nebraska really needed to convert in that situation. I mean, you have great field position on the opponent's 48-yard line, and you're just kind of gaining a little bit of momentum. But Nebraska really needed to connect on that long ball to Kenny Bell. He was wide open, just a bit overthrown, and that's just been the story of the day for Nebraska.
And really the whole season, Armstrong, we've seen flashes of just very good quarterback play, draped in inconsistent play on that throw. So the Hawkeyes take over, 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Rudock under center, turns, hands it off, gains about 3 yards there.
Yeah, that Nebraska front line is really starting to take control in this second half. They've really done a good job making penetration, and Malik Collins is having one of the best games I've seen him play in a long time.
So 3 touchdowns there in that third quarter, 2 for Iowa, 1 for Nebraska. Your score after 3, Iowa 24, Nebraska 14 on the 24-yard line, a 2nd down and 6 for the Hawkeye offense. Rudock under center in the I formation. Canzeri the back in the backfield. Tight end to the left. They're going to run that way. Canzeri trying to get to the outside, but a great job by Malik Collins and Greg McMullen just getting out there. Vincent Valentine as well, stringing out that play. Nothing doing there for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Vincent Valentine, that was the best play I've seen him make all day. He's hopping off the field now, but he just gobbled up the running back in the backfield, and Canzeri had nowhere to go on that one.
So 3rd and 7. Rudock looking like he's going to be in the gun. It's exactly what it is. 3 wide receivers to the right side. Wiseman the back in the left. Cavante Manley in the slot on the right. He's looking for him. Throws to him, but he's covered up nicely there by Joshua Kalu. We've called his name a lot tonight, Alex. What a great job by him there.
Yeah, he's had a really good football game so far. He forced that fumble in the second quarter right before half to give Nebraska the opportunity to score the touchdown heading into halftime. And there he had the key tackle to force a 3-and-out for the Nebraska defense.
So Dylan Kidd, feet on the 10, going to punt from there. Pearson L standing at his own 40. Look out if he touches the ball, folks.
It's a skyrocket.
A better punt here from Kidd. Pearson L's going to have some space. He fields it at his 20. He's got a seam. Here he goes. Pearson L across midfield. He's got one man to beat. And he's brought down by the punter at the 35-yard line. But what a return by Pearson L. And just like that, Nebraska's in business once again.
We've been saying it all year. This has been the spark for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Special teams, offense, this kid does it all. DeMornier Pearson L. Oh, man, what a return. He just one turn, and it seems like he's just got a lane every single time. And he's such a small guy, he can just fit through the crease. Dylan Kidd did a great job making the tackle. He only had one man to beat. He made the tackle, saving a touchdown for the Iowa Hawkeyes. But Nebraska looks like they got something cooking in this fourth quarter.
So Nebraska will take over at the 30. Ball on the left hash. Armstrong comes out in the pistol look. Two wide receivers to the left side. One wide receiver out right. It's Kenny Bell. He's got Greg Mabin locked up on him. Abdullah behind Armstrong. Armstrong play action. He's going to take a shot to the end zone intended for Kenny Bell. Kenny Bell goes up and gets it. Touchdown, Kenny Bell. What a catch by Kenny Bell. Are you kidding me?
That was a great catch. The ball was right on the money, right over the safety. Loudermilk didn't have a chance, and Kenny Bell comes down inbounds for the touchdown.
The Arian Foster thank you celebration. Nebraska's all-time leading receiver makes an unbelievable play. And pending the point after, Nebraska's back within 3.
What a catch by Kenny Bell. You can't ask more. The man's playing hurt. He's got a kind of a woozy head at this point. Didn't really know if he was going to be 100% in this game. But they tried the long bomb to him last possession. Get the long bomb to him this possession. Down 3.
The point after is up, and it's good. Iowa with the 24-21 lead. Kenny Bell. Your best players have to come through in critical moments, and that's what Kenny Bell just did. Went up and ripped that one out of the air, got his hand and knee inbounds before he fell out of bounds. Made a terrific catch over a fantastic corner in Greg Mabin, and we've got ourselves a ball game. Buckle up, folks. Don't go anywhere. This one's getting real interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised that play didn't go to review. I thought the refs were going to take a little bit of time to check this play out. But they didn't end up having to check. I mean, must not have seen anything up in the booth that would have said it wasn't a catch. So Nebraska did a good job of getting the PAT off quick. And Nebraska's only down 3 with 13 minutes and 24 seconds left in our game.
So a bit of a stunned silence here in Kinnick Stadium. Hawkeyes up 17 earlier, now only up 3. Nebraska roaring back thanks to the Kenny Bell 32-yard touchdown reception after the long punt return as the kickoff is taken by Jonathan Parker. Parker's out across the 20, out across the 25, slips. Another tackle made by Austin Williams. He's been a monster on special teams all game long.
Yeah, every time Nebraska's had the opportunity to go get one of those kick returners, it seems like Austin Williams has been there today. And it's been great to see. This is one of his last games as a Husker. He's a senior, and there's a bunch of walk-ons on this kickoff team, and they've been doing great.
The kickoff team has done a great job here for Nebraska. Now it's up to the defense. They really shut the door at the end of the third quarter. Let's see how Iowa responds. They got Wiseman in the backfield, single back, 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver set. Rudock under center, drops back to pass. Looked like he wanted to go deep, but there was great coverage all over the field. Tried to check down to Wiseman. Incomplete pass. Vincent Valentine wasn't in the game earlier. Checks in and puts immediate pressure on Rudock there.
Yeah, that was great pressure by the front 4 of Nebraska's defense. Zaire Anderson stayed home with the running back, Mark Weissman, out of the backfield. The dump-off was there, but there was too much pressure for Jake Rudock to dump it down.
So Rudock, a 2nd and 10 from his own 29. 13-13 remaining in the fourth quarter. Iowa clinging to a 3-point lead. Rudock, quarterback draw. Great play call. He's out across the 40, brought down at the 42-yard line. Heck of a play there by Greg Davis, the Iowa offensive coordinator. Nebraska was not ready for that one.
Yeah, that play looked like it was dialed up. There was no one in the center field for Nebraska. The two safeties were off playing down coverage with the two wide receivers on the left side, leaving an easy space for Rudock. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa goes to that one again later.
And the Hawkeyes move the chains for the first time and made their last 3 drives. They come out in the I form now. Jordan Canzeri, the back in the backfield. A play action. Rudock looking deep. Hawkeye fans not happy with, I don't know if it's the officials or the quarterback. They thought they had a man open deep.
Yeah, they thought Tavon Smith was held up on that play by Joshua Mitchell. He wasn't. In my opinion, I'm not a ref here, but the crowd wanted the call. Kirk Ferentz wanted the call. They're letting them play today.
Letting them play, and Iowa with the play action there on 1st and 10, not afraid to turn this ball over to Jake Rudock. 4 interceptions on the season, the lowest among Big Ten starting quarterbacks. So he's pretty careful with the ball as he comes out under center. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers set. Canzeri, the back in the backfield. They bootleg to the right. Rudock looks for his intended receiver. That's Jake Doozy on the boot, in and out of his hands. So a big 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Hawkeyes.
Really weird. Iowa going to back-to-back passes on 1st and 2nd down, leaving them with a 3rd and 10. Yeah, they've had a little bit of success today on 3rd and long, but you really don't like being in these situations.
Look out for Cavante Martin Manley. He's been the guy for the Hawkeyes all afternoon long. I'd be surprised if Rudock didn't go to him on this crucial 3rd and 10, as they've got a 3rd and 10 from the 42-yard line. Iowa, shotgun, trips to the left. Martin Manley in the slot that way. Wiseman, the running back, beside Rudock. Here comes the blitz. They get to him, and he throws it while he's falling down, but an incomplete pass. A great job by the Husker defense, and they're fired up on the Nebraska sideline now, Alex.
That Husker football team is jumping up and down. Jack Gangwish throws the bones. The whole Husker backfield, or the whole Husker front four is in position, and it's time to play.
And we'll see if Dylan Kidd dares punt to DeMornay Pearson-L again after the return on the last one. Kidd with his feet on his 28-yard line, high snap, he corrals it, punts it to Pearson-L. Pearson-L's going to field it at his 20. He's got some space again. Here he goes. He's out across the 40. He's got the punter to beat. He's going to, Kidd, he breaks the tackle across the 20, the 10, 5. Are you kidding me? DeMornay Pearson-L. Touchdown, Nebraska. Unbelievable.
The kid is lightning. I mean, oh my gosh, that ball, it looked like the defenders were right there. He slips both of them, and he's lightning, guys. He's the most elusive player this Nebraska football team has. And wow, he just flipped this football game as fast as you can believe. Wow, what a play by that kid.
Pearson-L is simply unbelievable. The long return on the last one, they dare kick to him again, and he takes this one back 81 yards for the touchdown. Are you kidding me? Nebraska with the 27-24 lead, and this crowd is stunned. The point after is up, and it's good, and just like that, Nebraska finds themselves in front for the first time all night, all afternoon, 28-24. We're going to be back for a crazy finish here in the fourth quarter with 12:06 remaining. Nebraska 28, Iowa 24. You're listening to Husker football right here on 90.3 KRNU. Back here for the fourth quarter here at Kinnick Stadium, Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. Nebraska left for dead, down 24-7 in the late third and fourth quarter. As Jonathan Parker fields the kick on the bounce. He fields it at his own 8-yard line. He meets a whole host of Huskers there. Joey Felici among them. A great play again by the Nebraska kickoff team.
The Nebraska special teams in this game has been the difference so far. Iowa on the kickoff game, they haven't had any long returns. And on the punt returning game, DeMornay Pearson-L. So the X factor in this game so far has to be the Nebraska special teams. Yes, they have one missed field goal, but they've played great so far.
The return units have been exceptional, and really special teams for both sides have been great. Let's see what Jake Rudock and this Hawkeye offense can do. 1st and 10 from their 15. Rudock in the gun. Looking deep. Goes over the middle to his intended receiver, Jake Doozy, incomplete. So Hawkeye offense really struggling right now.
Sarah Anderson in on the coverage again. He's been all over the field today. And for that fact, the whole Nebraska defense is really, they're just coming together. I mean, I would have never guessed the defense could have played like this in the first half, but the way they've been stopping the run, it really looks like Iowa is being forced to pass the football when they don't want to.
Rudock in the gun. 2nd and 10 from his 15. He's going to throw out to the left side. Cavante Martin Manley, his favorite receiver, forced out of bounds after a gain of about, we'll give him 8 yards on that one. 3rd and 2 from the 23. A huge 3rd down for the Hawkeyes.
We'll see what Nebraska can dial up on defense in this situation. They've been bringing a lot of pressure on 3rd down to try to force Rudock into some decisions, but it looks like Iowa's going to run the ball.
2 tight ends, I formation. Wiseman in the backfield. He's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Trevor Roach in there on the carry. It's going to be close. It depends on the spot, and they're going to give him the 1st down. The chains are moving. So a critical 1st down there for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, that was a big one. It looked like the Nebraska defense just made enough penetration, but Mark Weissman, he's so good at barreling for that extra yard, and he just got it. And I'm talking about inches here.
What a game we have brewing here, folks. Nebraska 28-24 after trailing 24-7. 11:15 and counting to go here in the 4th quarter. Rudock in the gun again. He's got time in the pocket. Finds Canzeri out of the backfield, wrapped up by David Santos at about the 35-yard line. Picks up a gain of about 5, excuse me.
Yeah, Canzeri, he's been a pretty good back out of the backfield today. He's caught about 3 passes, a couple swing passes. He hasn't really broken a big one off, but it's been a consistent 5 yards.
So 2nd and 3 now from the 32-yard line for the Hawkeyes. Rudock under center, Canzeri the back in the backfield. Turns, hands to him off the left tackle. Makes a man miss there. Out across the 35. Might have picked up the 1st down. He does. Ref signals to the chain. So right now, Iowa kind of killing this Nebraska momentum they picked up and looking to put together a drive of their own.
Yeah, Iowa's really putting something together here. They've gotten 2 first downs after being 3 and outed on back-to-back drives. And we're going to see what Iowa can do here.
Rudock in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the right side. Wiseman on his left. Rudock looking right. Vincent Valentine into the backfield. A big sack at the 25-yard line.
And another big play by the big guy named Big V, known at Nebraska. He's been having a big game. He's been, maybe the shuffling with Kevin Williams has been good for him, just giving him a little bit of a break between drives.
Lit a fire under him for sure. Vincent Valentine has been sensational since he's gotten back in to this football game. So 2nd and 20 for the Hawkeyes, position they are not comfortable being in on their own 26-yard line. Clock at 9:45 and counting. Empty set, Rudock in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the right side. He's looking left. Finds his receiver, Tavon Smith, who caught a touchdown earlier in the 3rd quarter.
Nebraska is playing really good defense right now. They're keeping everything in front of them at this point. They know that Iowa wants to run the football, but they just can't let them do that. And Iowa's being forced to pass the ball, which is something they're really not comfortable with. I mean, they really run to set up the pass. And when they're forced to pass in situations like this, they're very unsuccessful.
Rudock in the gun, 3rd and 13 from his own 33. 3 wide receivers to the right, the wide side of the field. He has time in the pocket. Had a wide open receiver, instead tried to force it to Matt Vandenberg, and an incomplete pass.
And great coverage by Josh Mitchell. He beat him to the ball and even got his right hand. And that Nebraska defense is pumped up, and the punt return team's coming out for some more lightning and DeMornier Pearsonell.
And I'd be utterly shocked if Dylan Kidd even lets Pearsonell touch this football. You got to believe you've got to force Nebraska to beat you in another way other than the punt return. The punt is up.
And they're not scared of him.
Pearsonell kicked, cornered out of bounds, so a great job there by Dylan Kidd. They've seen what Pearsonell did to them earlier in the game, and they keep it away from him. We'll be back with more. 9:02 remaining in the fourth quarter. You're listening to Husker Football here on 90.3 KRNU. Back here at Kinnick Stadium, Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. Nebraska left for dead by many, trailing 24-7 in the third quarter after they had a punt blocked and returned for a touchdown.
And he needs a little bit more room to really put damage on this Iowa defense.
So Armstrong comes out under center, 2nd and 9 from the 13-yard line. Ball on the right hash. Abdullah behind him. They turn, hand it to him, and Iowa keying on Amir Abdullah. They know he's going to be the guy. Nate Meyer brings Amir Abdullah down after no gain.
The Iowa defensive ends have had a really good game today. I mean, Nate Meyer, we've said his name a lot. He's been in the backfield. Drew Ott with the punt block touchdown. They've had a big game on this defensive line, and we'll see what Nebraska can do on this 3rd and long.
So 3rd and 9 from their own 13. Clock under 8 minutes. Iowa fans knowing their defense needs a stop, and they might get the ball with great field position. Armstrong, 5 wide receivers. Trips to the boundary on the right, near side. Armstrong's going to run with it. He's got some space. Makes a man miss. It's going to be close. It depends on the spot. I believe he's about a yard or two short. And there is a flag on the play. We'll have to see what this one is. It's a holding on the offense. Another costly penalty by the Nebraska offensive line.
Yeah, and like we've mentioned this a lot throughout this game, this offensive line has been a unit that has struggled this whole season. And if it's not false starts, personal fouls, or holding, what is it? I mean, they've made so many errors so far this season, and they really haven't progressed as much as Coach Garrison and Barney Cotton would have liked.
So Matt Vandenberg back at his own 40, set to return the punt. Sam Foltz standing at the 5-yard line, set the punt it. He's already dropped the snap and had it blocked. We'll see if he can corral this one. 7:20 to go here in the fourth quarter. Snap is held nicely by Foltz. Foltz boots it away. Vandenberg fields it at his 40. He makes a move. He gets out to the left side, spins. Austin Williams again with another special teams tackle, but Iowa's going to take over with great field position. Ball at their 47-yard line. We're going to take a quick break. We'll bring you what's sure to be a crazy end to this fourth quarter. You're listening to Husker Football on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back here to Kinnick Stadium. I am Max Baker. I am joined by Alex Zastera up here in the booth, and what's been an on their 47, 1st and 10. Rudock under center, changing things at the line of scrimmage. Once again, Canzeri the back in the backfield. It's a run to the left side. Canzeri out across the 50, brought down by Kalu. Zaire Anderson as well. Santos in on the tackle. Gain of about 3.
That Husker defense is doing a really good job of getting to the outside. Iowa keeps trying to pound away at the outside, trying to spring something outside, and it's just not happening. Joshua Kalu, he's showing great speed out there, and it was great form tackling.
So Rudock, 2nd and 8 from the 49-yard line. Rudock has time in the pocket. Hits his receiver, Jake Doozy. He's looked his way all afternoon long. He's brought down at the Husker 36-yard line. So here come the Hawkeyes. They're not done yet either, folks.
This is going to be a great football game. Jake Doozy and Cavante Martin-Manley, they have been the main targets for this Iowa offense through the passing game, and they've been reliable so far throughout this game.
Rudock again in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the left. Wiseman on the right. Huskers bring pressure. Rudock steps up in the pocket, looking again to Jake Doozy. Looked like he stumbled coming out of his break. Pass incomplete.
Byerson Cockrell's having a great game stepping in for Corey Cooper today. I mean, this is the first time he's played at safety all season, and he's doing a great job. He's been all over players. We've said his name a lot throughout this telecast, and he's been all over.
So again, Rudock in the gun. 3 wide receivers to the left. Ball on the right hash. 2nd and 10 from the 36. Clock at 6:09. Rudock, quarterback draw. Read nicely there.
Yeah, I was going to say they were going to dial up a draw play like that again after they had success with that 15-yarder midway through the third quarter during that 3rd and long. I thought they'd go back to a play like that, and Jack Gangwish was ready for it.
Gangwish filling in for Randy Gregory, who is out for today's game. Great job there by him. 3rd and 11 for the Hawkeyes. Biggest third down of the game for them. From the 37, 5:38 and counting. Rudock in the gun. He has time in the pocket. Looking for Tavon Smith. Finds him. He's going to be close, right at the chains. And it's decision time for Kirk Ferentz and company, I believe. Depends on the spot. Brought down by Daniel Davies.
It looks like he's about a half yard short, folks at home, and Iowa's bringing in their heavy set.
The Hawkeyes bringing in the big boys. Number 99, Nathan Bazada, the 284-pound redshirt freshman. And the Huskers have a lot of confusion on the defensive sideline. They're going to be forced to burn a timeout.
And this is the situation that Iowa really likes to be in. They're in 4th and short. Where are they?
Play will be under review. I've got to assume it's for a spot. Maybe they're reviewing the catch.
I think they might be reviewing the catch. I mean, the ball kind of looked like it was cradled in between his legs as he was going down. If it's not a catch for Tavon Smith, that's a big one for Nebraska defense, because that's going to force them into a 4th and 10.
Right now, as the ruling stands, 4th and 1 on the 26. We'll get a view at it here. Remember, the call on the field was a catch, so video evidence has to confirm that it was not. And Alex, this is going to be really close. They may re-spot this ball, as Alex has the binoculars out next to me. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, it looked like he only got about 5 yards on that. Oh, the spot on the field, he was short of the line of gain. That's what it looked like they were challenging right there. It's still 4th and short, and Nebraska's 4th down defense is going to have a lot to fight against with these big boys coming in for Iowa.
So the Hawkeyes, a 4th and 1 on the Nebraska 26. A field goal does them no good, so they're going to line up and try and pound it. Wiseman in the backfield. Rudock under center. 4:55 and counting. Handed to Wiseman. He hurdles, tripped up. He might have scored, Alex.
He might have scored if he wasn't tripped up there. I mean, man, he had a big hole to go, and the Husker defense looks a little bit deflated after letting that one up.
So the Husker defense, Hawkeyes have been in the red zone already 3 times this game. Only 1 touchdown to show for it. Can they shut the door yet again with 4:30 and ticking? What a game we have brewing here, folks. Rudock under center. The heavy set still on the field. Wiseman the back. Ball on the right hash. 1st and 10 from the 19. They're going to run to the right side. Wiseman's met in the backfield by 4 Huskers. Jack Gangwish again in on the tackle for Nebraska.
Jack Gangwish is doing a great job today stepping in for Randy Gregory. He had to step in for Randy Gregory against McNeese State in the 2nd game of this season. He didn't have the greatest game, and a lot of blame was kind of shelled off him with the poor play by the Nebraska defense that day, but it is a totally different story during this one. He's making a great substitution for Gregory.
2nd and 11 for the Hawkeyes. Ball on the 20. 3:45 and counting. Rudock under center. Turns, hands it to Wiseman. Wiseman off the right side, following his right tackle. That's Andrew Donnell making a great block there, clearing a lane for Wiseman to plow through. 3rd and 1, another huge down here for the Hawkeye offense.
Like you said, Jordan Walsh was a great block. That right side's been doing really good today. And the run outside hasn't really been working for Iowa. It's all been right off the guard. So we'll see if they keep doing that on this 3rd and short.
So Rudock under center, Wiseman the back again, the power back. They turn, hand it to him, makes a move. He picks up the 1st down, much to the crowd's delight. But again, still 8 yards away. And Alex, this clock at 3:05 stopped now to move the chains. But this is going to get real interesting here.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting because if Nebraska's defense can't stop this Iowa offense, they're going to be in trouble with barely any time left in this game. This is a must-stop for the Nebraska defense.
Bo Pelini with 3 timeouts. We'll have to see how he uses them here. Rudock under center. Ball on the right hash. Again, ball goes to Wiseman. Wiseman inside the 5, brought down by a bunch of Nebraska defenders. Credit Trevor Roach on that tackle. 2nd and goal from the 5. 2:30 and counting. Does it get any better than this, Alex?
It doesn't get much better than this. Nebraska's got 5 yards to work with, 3 downs to stop them. It's a must. There's not much time remaining in this game, and the Nebraska offense hasn't been up to par or playing good enough to put a game-winning drive together.
2nd and goal from the 5. Heavy packaging again. They're going to go off the right tackle. It's Wiseman. Wiseman's met at the 5-yard line. Nathan Gary in on the tackle. Zaire Anderson as well. So 3rd and goal from the 5. Clock is ticking.
What great pursuit by the Nebraska defense. I mean, they've been all over the field this second half. They could have laid down and died, but they're playing great.
And Nebraska wisely takes a timeout to stop the clock. And right now, Kirk Ferentz, you're Kirk Ferentz, Alex. 3rd and 5 with 1:54 remaining. You've got it on the 5-yard line, 3rd and goal. You have 2 downs to score here. You need a touchdown. A field goal does you no good. What's your play call here?
At first, I think I'm going to try on the 3rd down. I'm going to try to get Jake Rudock on the run a little bit. I'm expecting pressure down the middle from Nebraska. I think they're going to blitz in this situation just to get Jake Rudock a little bit happy on his feet. So if I'm Iowa and I'm Kirk Ferentz, I'm doing a little kind of roll out to his left, maybe a little curl on the very outside, a slant inside, just kind of throw the Nebraska defenders. And you either have to commit to Rudock on the boot or you're going to have to commit to the wide receiver.
What a game. We have been lucky enough to bring you here. I'm Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera here on your home of Husker football, 90.3 KRNU. 3rd and 5, 1:54 remaining. Here we go. Rudock under center. It's Canzeri in the backfield. Rudock's going to throw. Rudock swings it out to Canzeri. He's going to score. Touchdown, Iowa, and the crowd absolutely loves it. Iowa takes the 2-point lead pending the point after with 1:49 remaining in this one.
We talked about in midway through the 3rd quarter, we were talking about Canzeri and the swing pass and how they were getting about 4 to 5 yards of completion on it. And right there, no linebackers went out with Canzeri. They were kind of sucked in. They probably thought there was going to be a run right there. It just didn't end up happening, and Canzeri goes untouched into the end zone.
Marshall Cohn, perfect on PATs thus far, 34 for 34. Chalk it up, 35 for 35. 1:49 remaining. Iowa reclaims the lead, 31-28. Alex, we couldn't have asked for a better game here in Iowa City today.
It's been a great game. It's been a bunch of up and downs for Iowa and Nebraska, and those ups and downs have met in the final 2 minutes of this game, and we're going to see which team has the will to win. Can Nebraska drive this? Can the Nebraska offense and Tommy Armstrong drive the ball down the field and score?
And guess who is back to return? DeMornay Pearsonell. I'd be shocked if they kick it anywhere near him. They're going to target it towards Kenny Bell as Marshall Cohn set to kick it away. This crowd has come alive here after the 3rd down touchdown reception by Jordan Canzeri. What a play call by Greg Davis and Kirk Ferentz. Wide open receiver out of the backfield. Able to get to the pylon before the defense, and Iowa's up 3, and it could come down to this Nebraska kicking game, which has struggled all afternoon long. Cohn kicking off from the 35. He kicks it. Kenny Bell fields it at the goal line. He's out across the 15. Makes a move, spins. Tackled at the 27. So for Nebraska, 2 timeouts, Alex. 1:42 remaining. This is where coaches make their money.
This is where coaches make their money, and this is where Nebraska has not been very good in Bo Pelini's history. I mean, coming into the last couple minutes of the game, you really expect the other coach to kind of have a better feel for the X's and O's at this point. And Tim Beck has struggled a little bit in times like this season. And let's see if there's something different out there. Maybe Tim Beck has something dialed up for us.
So 1st and 10 from the 28, 1:42 remaining. Crowd as loud as it's been all afternoon. Armstrong in the gun. Abdullah next to him. Armstrong's back to pass. Looking for Amir Abdullah just a little bit too far to the outside of him. That might have hurt more than it helped anyway, as the clock would have been running.
Yep. It was just a poor throw by Tommy Armstrong. He had Amir Abdullah. There was a little bit of pressure coming through, but that's the play you got to connect on.
Folks, this atmosphere is what college football is all about. This crowd is absolutely rocking this stadium. 2nd and 10 for the Cornhuskers. Ball on the 28 on the right hash. Armstrong trips to the left, under center, looking for Kenny Bell. Kenny Bell maybe even pushed off there. There is a flag. I'd be shocked if it's not on. And it's on the defense.
Ooh, that was a real tough call. I mean, the fans in this stadium really didn't like that one. I'm not going to argue with the refs. But Kenny Bell came out of his break and his forearms were clearly extended. So Nebraska might have got away with the call right there.
It pushed Greg Mabin, the corner, covering him to the ground. But if you're a Nebraska fan, you've got a 1st and 10 on the 39-yard line.
Yeah, and overall, the refs have done a really good job today. I mean, we haven't really seen any poor calls on the field.
Absolutely not. 1st and 10 from the 39. Ball on the right hash. Abdullah next to Armstrong. Crowd getting loud. Armstrong in the pocket. Spins out of the sack. He's going to go deep. And it looked like Pearson L. and Kenny Bell didn't know who it was intended for, and neither really went for it. So that pass falls incomplete up the right sideline.
Yeah, it's a play where you say if one of the guys goes for it, he maybe has a chance at catching that football. But it looked like if both of them would have went for it, they probably would have taken each other out. So it was good. It was a good decision by Armstrong getting out of pressure and trying to make something out of nothing.
Armstrong in the gun. Trips to the left side. Ball on the right hash. They bring in pressure. It's Ethan Carter picks up enough for a Nebraska 1st down inside Hawkeye territory to the 48-yard line. Clock at 1:19. Reminder, the clock stops as they move the chains, but as soon as that ball is set, it continues to tick, and there it goes. They get the sign from the ref. Armstrong in the gun once again. 2 wide receivers to the left. Abdullah next to him. Iowa bringing pressure. He's going to go deep up the right sideline. Brandon Riley caught at the 15. Brandon Riley comes back for the ball, makes an unbelievable catch on Greg Mabin, and the Huskers are in business, folks.
The ball was terribly underthrown. It was about a 5-yard adjustment for Brandon Riley. He slid past Mabin and got in front of him for the catch, and that's a 1st down for Nebraska.
1st and 10 on the 11. Clock at 1:01. We're under a minute here. And the referees are going to stop this one dead. The Hawkeyes forced to take a timeout, collect themselves. Fans are shocked.
Fans have no idea what's going on right now. It's just if Nebraska would have got that pass interference, it would have been 3rd and long for the Nebraska offense. The Iowa Hawkeye defense would have been able to pin their ears back, maybe get a stop, but now Nebraska's got the ball on the 12-yard line with an opportunity to actually get a 1st down within the 2 and burn the clock and maybe put it in the end zone and ice this game.
Glad to have you guys with us here. Max Baker, Alex Zastera on 90.3 KRNU. This one is coming down to the wire. The Nebraska special teams units 0 for 2 on field goals today, Alex. You got to think that's in the back of Coach Bo Pelini's mind right now.
It's got to be in the back of your mind, but if Nebraska cannot convert a field goal from inside the 12-yard line, you have no business winning this game, but I'm sure Nebraska's got touchdown in the back of their mind.
Armstrong in the pistol, again on the right hash. Abdullah moves up to the right of Armstrong. 58 seconds, ball on the 12. Armstrong, quarterback draw. He's up the middle. Wrapped up at the 8-yard line. Quentin Alston makes a sure tackle, wraps him up, brings him down. Clock continues to dwindle. 44, 43. 2nd and 5. Alex mentioned they can get a 1st down inside the 2. But right now the clock continues to wind. Armstrong in the gun. Ball on the 7. He turns, hands to Abdullah. Abdullah inside the 3, brought down at the 4. He's short of the 1st down. Clock winding. 22 seconds remaining. Bo's going to take a timeout. So a 3rd and 1, 20 seconds remaining. This is how rivalries are born.
This is how rivalries are born, and I don't remember a Nebraska-Iowa game that has ever had this type of excitement. I'm talking punt returns, long touchdowns, block punts for touchdowns, block punts for touchdowns.
They got it all.
Oh, man, we got it all today. You couldn't ask for much more. This is the last game in the regular season for both of these football teams, and this is just great football. You couldn't ask for a better way to end the season. I mean, one of these teams is going to go home sad. The other one's going to go home with a little bit of a confidence boost, but that's how football works, and this is a great one.
The sun has come out here. The crowd has never been louder. 3rd and 1, ball on the 3-yard line. Can still pick up a first down. I'd be shocked if this ball went anywhere other than Amir Abdullah, but we'll see what Tim Beck dialed up. Armstrong in the pistol, 20 seconds remaining. Ball centered in the middle of the field. And they snapped the ball, but the refs are going to blow this one dead. Hawkeyes take a timeout, so we've got a little bit of a chess match now. Seeing what the offense lines up in, and then you want to adjust some things on the defensive side of the ball. Holy cow.
If you're Tim Beck in this situation, what are you doing?
I'm turning it around, and I'm handing it to the star, the guy who's brought you all the way back, Mr. Amir Abdullah.
Alrighty, I totally agree. I think he's got to touch the ball in this situation. This is his team, and I know he was in the Heisman race, but he's still the best back in our hearts here in Nebraska. And if you got to give the guy the ball. This is his time to shine. His last regular season game as a Husker, and man, what a way to end if he can score a touchdown here. What a way to end a Husker career.
So 1 timeout remaining for the Cornhuskers. We mentioned earlier in the game that there's not a lot to lose. You either finish 3rd or 4th in the Big Ten West. You got to think if they don't get it here, they might be inclined to go for it again. 3rd and 1, 20 seconds remaining. Nebraska looking for the go-ahead touchdown, trailing by 3. Armstrong turns, hands to Abdullah. He didn't pick up the first down, that's for sure, but they're still pushing. Clock at 12 seconds. Nebraska takes their timeout.
They're going to have to come in and bring the chains in, I think, on this one. It's really close.
It's going to be right there. And
Bo's asking for a chain gang measurement, but I don't think he's going to get one. So
Nebraska forced to burn their final timeout, Alex.
He's going to be forced to we're either going to go for a field goal or a win right here. Bo Pelini's been awfully conservative so far this year, but just the way the last 2 games have gone for Nebraska and the disappointment they've endured, I think Nebraska's going to go for this first down. If they don't get it, they'll end up losing, but they're going to have probably 7 or 8 seconds to put the ball in the end zone. So we're going to see what they do here. Bo Pelini isn't getting a measurement like he wants. The refs say it's not close enough for a measurement. They say they can eyeball it, so
looks like from the spot here about 1.5 yards short. 4th and 1, ball on the 3, and if there's one thing we know about Nebraska, Alex, they like to go for the win. Think back to the Osborne days.
I'm thinking back to the 83 Orange Bowl against Miami, lost in the 2-point conversion. I like the aggressive move by Nebraska here, but it looks like they're bringing out the
field goal unit,
and they're going to play for overtime.
Play for the tie. Drew Brown, a 20-yard field goal attempt. Remember, Carl Davis, the star defensive tackle for the Hawkeyes, with 1 block already. Hold is down, it's up, the kick is up, and it's right down the middle. So a clutch kick from Drew Brown. And just like that, free football with we still got 8 seconds, but it looks like we're on course for some overtime.
Yeah, pending if this kickoff, hopefully no disasters can happen for Nebraska, and they can keep Iowa out of the end zone here, and we get our free football. But like we were just saying, can you ask for a better football game? I mean, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, you guys listening at home, you guys listening in your cars, this has been a great football game. Make sure you stay tuned in for the rest because this game has had so much excitement. There's just got to be more coming in this overtime period.
This is unbelievable. The Huskers drive down. The Hawkeyes take the lead with about 1:48 remaining on a 3rd down reception by Jordan Canzeri. The Huskers respond. Sethan Carter, Brandon Riley making unbelievable plays. They get to the 5 before they are forced to kick the game-tying field goal. And with 8 seconds left, pending an unbelievable return by Jonathan Parker and the Hawkeyes, we're going to go to overtime, and we're going to get that free football.
Yeah, it's just going to be Nebraska's first overtime game of the season if it makes it to that point, and we'll see what Bo Pelini and this team has left in them. It's been a hard-fought football game.
The kickoff squibbed by Drew Brown. Fielded by the Hawkeyes. Out across the 30. He got to the 50, and if nothing else, now you have a hurl to the end zone if you're the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of that Northwestern game. Northwestern tried squib kicking it against Nebraska. Nebraska took it down the field where they had an attempt at a Hail Mary. We're going to see how far Jake Rudock can throw it on this one.
So Chad Gilson, the senior linebacker for the Hawkeyes, wisely scooped up the squib kick, returned it about 15 yards, and now the Hawkeyes have the ball at the 48-yard line. If nothing else, you throw it to the end zone, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go to the end zone. The only thing that could really badly happen on that is if Nebraska can get Rudock in the grasp and maybe force that ball loose and score a magical touchdown, but I don't see that happening. We'll see.
You never know. The beauty of college football.
With Cavante, Martin Manley, and Tavon Smith at wide receiver, these guys would definitely have an opportunity to catch one in the end zone here. They're real athletic guys. And Martin Manley, he's having a great game today.
And the Hawkeyes take their final time out here. 31-31. If you're just tuning in, you've missed an unbelievable game. The Huskers trailing 24-7 in the third quarter, come roaring back, take the 28-24 lead. Then Jake Rudock drives the Hawkeyes down the field. Jordan Canzeri gets a receiving touchdown out of the backfield on a 3rd and goal from the 5. Tommy Armstrong leads the Huskers back, trailing by 3, puts them in field goal position. Drew Brown hits his first field goal of the day, 1 for 3 on the afternoon. And that's how we are at 31. And Alex, you mentioned touchdown scored, punt returns, blocked punt, interception return, long pass by Kenny Bell. Everything you can think of this game has had.
This game's had everything, and if you guys aren't in the stadium, I feel bad for you today, but you got the next best thing. You got Max Baker and Alex Zastera here. We got Iowa's last play.
Cavante Martin Manley trips to the right side. He's hit. They're going to try the circus play. The Boise State, the lateral. They've got some space. It is a tie game. They're not done yet. The lineman's got it. The big man, and he's forced out of bounds. Wow.
That was a nice setup from Kirk Ferentz. I mean, they had that Boise State play, that hook and ladder all set up. It was pretty good, and Daniel Davies stumbled on it. If Nate Gary wasn't back there and Byerson Cockrell, we might be saying touchdown, see you later.
Brandon Scherf, the left tackle, ended up with the ball on the lateral. The pass went to Tavon Smith. Then he pitched it to Martin Manley. Martin Manley stops with it, throws it back to Brandon Scherf, the NFL potential tackle. And, folks, he got to about the 25-yard line before Gary knocked him out of bounds. But you mentioned, if Gary's not there, he might be in the end zone.
Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of like the more conventional Hail Mary because you get a better opportunity to throw it all the way into the end zone. I mean, you're either going to score or not. That play, I mean, it looks cool. I mean, you have a good opportunity you have a decent opportunity to score, but when you got one final chance, you better make sure that ball at least crosses the goal line.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, overtime here at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. You're listening to Husker Football on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back here to Kinnick Stadium. I'm Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. If you're just joining us, wow, you have missed an absolutely fantastic football game. We're starting overtime, tied at 31. Nebraska won the coin toss in overtime. They elected to go on defense first, as all teams usually do. So the Hawkeyes will take over at the 25-yard line. Reminder, this is not a timed overtime period. You have your opportunity to score, and then whatever you do, the other team gets their shot from the 25 as well. So, free football.
Yeah, it's free football, and like you said, if you guys are just tuning in, this game has had it all. We've had field goal blocks, punt block for a touchdown. We had a long touchdown to Kenny Bell. We had it's just abundance of stuff. A punt return from DeMornier Pearsonell for a touchdown. We've had it all, and we're not done yet.
So the Hawkeyes will take over 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. Wiseman, the back in the backfield, 2 wide receivers to the right of Rudock. This got man in motion, Martin Manley. This one's going to be blown dead. A false start on the Hawkeyes. And Alex, if there's one thing you got to know about college football overtime, penalties are killer.
Penalties are killers in all situations of the game, and especially on an easy play like that, it's just a simple false start. I mean, you guys are coming out off of a timeout, and you're going to give yourself a false start and give yourself minus 5 yards in the OT period. Let's see what Nebraska's defense can do with this opportunity with a 5-yard head start.
So Rudock under center, 3 wide receivers, 2 to his right and a tight end to the right as well. Tavon Smith out alone on the left side. They're going to turn, hand to Wiseman. Wiseman makes a nice move off to the left tackle, gains back the penalty and then some. Brought down at about the 21-yard line, so a nice bit of running there by Mark Wiseman, the senior.
It looked like Nebraska had him bottled up in the backfield, but he just found a little crease and slid forward for about a 9-yard gain.
Zaire Anderson, Nate Gary, names we've mentioned all afternoon long, again on the tackle. 2nd and 6 for the Hawkeyes. Ball on the 21. Rudock under center. 2 wide receivers to the right side. That's Smith and Martin Manley. The handoff goes to the right side. Zaire Anderson again in on the tackle, but not before Wiseman picks up about 3. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 on the 18-yard line.
Iowa's been in this situation theoretically all day, and they've been running the football. They haven't really passed the ball too much on 3rd down unless they've been pushed into a long situation. So I think Mark Weissman's just going to keep getting fed. The Nebraska defense looks like they're losing a little bit of strength and gas out there, because Mark Weissman in this last 2 drives, he's had some success.
Rudock in the gun, 3rd and 3. He's got all day to throw. Finds Jake Doozy inside, picks up a Hawkeye 1st down, but there is a flag on the field. It's a defensive holding call, but Iowa picked up the 1st down anyway. The reception by Jake Doozy. And really, he's been one of Jake Rudock's favorite targets. Him and Martin Manley really gotten the bulk of the looks here today.
Yeah, they've had really big days today, especially Martin Manley. I'm really impressed with how good he's played so far this game. I didn't think that Josh Mitchell was going to let him have a day like he's had today. But the Nebraska defense, again, has to make a stop.
And the last regular season game of the year comes to overtime. Just some more football for us to enjoy. Thank you for enjoying it here on 90.3 KRNU with us. I'm Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. It's been too much fun to even talk about, and we're still not done, folks. 31-31, the first session of overtime for Iowa. Nebraska still to get the ball after they see what Iowa does with it. Right now, Iowa doing some good things with the football. They have a 1st and goal at the 9-yard line.
We haven't seen a turnover in a little bit, so I'm expecting the Black Shirts to be pulling for the ball.
Play action for Rudock. Throws to the corner of the end zone. Off the intended tight end's hands. Ray Hamilton, the tight end. A great throw by Rudock. Unable to reel it in. Ray Hamilton brings up 2nd and goal at the 9. A tremendous play call by Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, it was a great route ran by Ray Hamilton. He had separation. If the ball was just pulled a little bit more tight, they'd probably score on that, and Iowa was probably heading into the second part of overtime with a 7-point lead.
2nd and goal from the 9. Wiseman the lone back behind Rudock. 2 wide receivers. Smith and Martin Manley, the wide side of the field on the left. Handoff's going to go right to Wiseman. Wiseman's inside the 10 to probably the 7-yard line. Not a lot cooking there for the Hawkeyes. And a huge 3rd and goal now for both sides.
Nebraska's done good on 3rd and long today, and they've done good on 3rd and long most of this season. This is where Nebraska likes to be on defense. They've been a bend don't break defense a lot of this year, and this is the definition of bend don't break. You got to keep them out of the end zone here.
3rd and goal from the 7. No clock, as we mentioned, in this overtime period. Rudock in the gun. He has time. He steps up to the right of the pocket, throws for his intended receiver. Players looking for the flag, not going to get it. And the Nebraska faithful that made the trip up to Iowa City loves everything about that one.
Yeah, that was great coverage, and Jack Gingrich coming around with Trevor Roach on that backside. They got good pressure on Rudock, and if the ball would have been thrown a little bit more accurately, I think they probably get it called there, but the ball was floating out of bounds.
So Marshall Cohn in for the field goal attempt. The kick is up, and it is good. So not exactly what Iowa wanted, but still putting pressure on Nebraska nonetheless. Iowa gets 3 on their attempt. Nebraska now will answer.
Yeah,
They'll have 1st and 10 on the 25.
Nebraska, they can play for a second overtime. They're in a great position in this game. You'd really want to put the game away now with a great opportunity to do so. The Nebraska offense has had a great second half. They're really moving the ball and kind of working with the middle of the field. We'll see if Nebraska can get to that in the second half of this overtime and see if they can punch this ball into the end zone.
Do the troubles that Nebraska's had with the field goal unit thus far worry you if you're Bo Pelini?
It'd worry me a little bit, but at least we converted going into overtime from the 12-yard or from the 2-yard line out here. So you got to have faith in your kicking game.
Armstrong in the gun, trips to his left side. Man in motion, it's Pearsonell. It's a play action. They're going to take a shot. Armstrong avoids a sack, but then Carl Davis gobbles him up in the backfield. Great job by Carl Davis. We've mentioned his name all afternoon long. He has a blocked field goal as well.
Yeah, he's been playing great. The defensive tackles for Iowa have really been surprising me. They're a lot better than the kind of pro evaluation that they're getting. I mean, Luis Trinca-Passat has had a great game along with Carl Davis.
So 2nd 8 from the 23 for the Huskers. Ball centered in the middle of the field. Armstrong in the pistol. 2 wide receivers to each side. Pearsonell in the slot on the right. Turns. Hands to Amir Abdullah. Amir making something out of nothing, but unable to get away from Drew Ott, who scored a touchdown on the blocked punt earlier.
Yeah, the kid from Nebraska makes a tackle. Drew Ott from Trumbull, Nebraska. Amir Abdullah, like you said, making something out of nothing. Josie Jewell was in on the play, and Amir Abdullah just stepped to the side and still was able to gain 3 yards.
So from here, it would be a 37-yard field goal attempt, but there's still a down to be played for Nebraska. 3rd and 6 from the 21-yard line. Ball on the left hash, trips out right. Abdullah next to Armstrong in the gun. Armstrong gets it, he rolls right, he's pressured. Throws into the middle of the field, caught by Kenny Bell. That's enough for a Husker first down at the 10-yard line. What a play by Tommy Armstrong.
What a play by Tommy Armstrong. There was about a 6-man blitz, a 0 blitz by the Iowa defense. He steps 2 steps to his right. He's backpedaling, flings it to Kenny Bell. First down, Nebraska.
1st and goal at the 9-yard line for the Huskers. A touchdown wins it as they trail by 3. Armstrong in the pistol. Abdullah behind him. Turns, hands to Abdullah. Play action. Armstrong rolls to the right, looking for somebody. Makes a move, throws it in the end zone. Caught!
It's a touchdown, Nebraska!
Kenny Bell!
Kenny Bell, touchdown!
Kenny Bell wins it for Nebraska. Unbelievable. The Huskers store back from down 17 and win it in overtime. Your final score, Nebraska 37, Iowa 34, and these fans can't believe it.
They can't believe what just happened. Tommy Armstrong, not known for being clutch. He rolls right, buys time, and there's Kenny Bell right in the corner of the end zone. That's a touchdown. He's across the line. He's got to be in. Iowa fans are trying to point to the scoreboard saying he's not in.
Hold your horses, folks. Kenny Bell, they're going to take a look at this one because he had it in the end zone, but when he was contacted, he did bobble the football. Wow, what a turn of events.
This one might be coming back, my friends. They're not showing the replay anymore in the stadium. And here we're getting another look right now, throwing the binoculars on.
So Alex has got the binoculars. I'm going to take a look. He caught it, but as he got
I think
he had possession.
He had possession before the contact, so I'm going to say Kenny Bell's touchdown. And the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown for Kenny Bell. The Huskers move to 9-3 on the season. It's a touchdown. We got a 37-34 final, and what a game this was, Max.
And Nebraska comes from behind. 24-7 they trailed in the third quarter. They steal victory from the jaws of defeat with the late drive by Tommy Armstrong. The 37-34 overtime victory. Unbelievable, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back after this to wrap up what was an unbelievable game here in Iowa City. You're listening to Husker Football on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back here to Kinnick Stadium. Unbelievable finish, and that doesn't even do the game justice. I'm Max Baker alongside Alex Zastera. The Nebraska Cornhuskers come into Kinnick Stadium, steal an overtime victory, 37-34. Alex, unbelievable, outstanding. What other words can you use to describe the game that just took place?
12th game of the football season, third place in the Big Ten West. It was coming down to this game. You could see the want on both of these teams. They both wanted this game so badly. The second half was probably some of the best football I have ever watched in my life. We got it all. Punt block for touchdown, a field goal block, DeMornier Pearsonell, punt return for a touchdown. We had it all. And you got to credit these kids for going out and putting on a show like this.
Both teams, really. No heads should be hung at this point, because what a game we just witnessed, and I'm sure if they played another game tomorrow, it'd be just the same type of game, back and forth the whole way. Alex, give me a guy that was the star of the game for you.
The star of the game for me has to be DeMornier Pearsonell for Nebraska. On the Iowa side, Mark Weissman, he had a pretty good game, but I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to do a co-MVP for Iowa. I'm going to do Carl Davis and Louis Trinka-Passat. They own the Nebraska offensive line today, and they had great games all around. Everybody on this field should be proud of the game they just played.
And Pearsonell, 2 long punt returns. One of them went for a touchdown, gave Nebraska their first lead. Then Iowa answers, takes a 3-point lead. Nebraska drives down the field with only 1:48 remaining to tie the game, to send it into overtime. Iowa gets the ball first. They get a field goal. And then Tommy Armstrong on a play-action bootleg to the right finds Kenny Bell at the front corner of the end zone right by the pylon, and Nebraska steals victory from the jaws of defeat. Thank you all for joining us here on 90.3 KRNU. For Alex Zastera, I'm Max Baker. Until next time, Husker Nation.
This has been a sports presentation of KRNU 90.3 FM. Your station for year-round University of Nebraska sports is the University of Nebraska station, 90.3 KRNU.